Hello, hello. Welcome to Community Fridays. I'm Pete Mohrbacher. This is the stream. The stream is live. I'm doing this pre-roll thing. It turned out great. A bunch of you guys showed up. We got a light turnout here in the room on the Twitch streaming throne over here today. On the mic, it's just me and Ace right now. So if any of you guys want to come in and join and chit chat, feel free to follow the Discord link. And we're over in the voice chat room, the live on Twitch voice chat room. It's only 15 seats, so feel free to come in and join us and chit chat if you want. Today we're gonna look over. We're switching things up. Like, we are trying out new things all the time. Last week we were doing some portfolio reviews. I really was proud of the conversations that we had. Like, I think for the people that we were talking to, it was good. But then a lot of people in the audience felt like it was real boring. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to keep it a little lighter, I think, on Community Fridays. And if I'm going to do some sort of portfolio review thing, I think it's probably going to be a separate format. So I want to take a look and see what we're doing today, because one of the big things today is that this is the first time where we have the, what do you call them? The weekly challenges is due right now. Deadline is this moment, because we are... you know, like, this is the time that I set for it. So now we're going to be here looking at it. I haven't actually peeked in to look at the weekly challenge because I didn't want to, like, spoil myself at all. But, like, first, I don't know. Where should we start? Should we start with the weekly challenge? Should we look at the dailies, see what's up in the sketchbooks? Like, I know there's, like, a lot of stuff to check out. People have been posting a lot of cool shit this week. What do you think, Ace?
I don't know. You too fast.
Oh, wait. You know what I forgot to do is I forgot to set up my fucking VTuber. Let's see. I have everything broken right now. So let me get this. I gotta make sure the Discord window is actually poking at Discord. Boom. There we go. There we go. That's the view that I wanted for that. And then I gotta get my VTuber up, obviously. So I'm gonna turn that on real quick. Camera on. Okay. And now, set that over there. Yes, Azriel is back up. Excellent. So yeah, yesterday I was talking a lot about the lore, like a little bit of my lore here. And I was talking about how my office is technically like a fallout shelter. And it's not in a state where I can take photos of it, but the entrance alone, I think, speaks a certain amount of a story. So, like, this is like a sliding barn door. It's not a full width door. You can tell, I think, just by looking at it, that it's kind of low. I think it's about, like, the whole height of the ceiling is like about just over 6 foot. So I'm pretty tall. So, like, in order to not feel like I'm scraping my head, I feel like I have to, like, duck down a little bit when I get through here. And then it's really narrow. So, like, in order for me to be able to get my office chair in here, I had to take it fully apart so that the wheels disconnected from the base, and, like, the whole back and the seat and everything were all separated, because this space is too narrow, and it's all concrete. It's this concrete right angle turn. So yeah, when we went to go buy the house, they're like, that's a walk-in closet. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, cool. Like, they hung a bunch of, like, closet furniture on the walls, so, like, you could technically use it as a walk-in closet. But, like, my first thought is like, can I get an IKEA desk in there? Can I get my jerker through this thing? And then, like, if I can get the jerker in there, then I could make this my little home. I could live in there. And that's exactly what I did. So I'm gonna clean this thing up. I'll show you guys. I'll give you guys a little studio tour at some point. This shit's crazy. I think I have one of the most unique offices, like, you know, in the general art community. I think most people, they just put a bunch of furniture in a bedroom, you know, some office plants. They have a cat roaming around. No, the cat. I'll post photos of my cat later. You guys are gonna like it. It's not a regular cat. I think if you had to guess, I think you could probably figure out what the deal is with it. But I'll post photos, because I've actually, you know what? I wonder if I've got some photos of him. Uh, I don't remember. Actually, this might take a bit. I don't remember the last time I had a photo. I've got my photo roll up synced from my phone, but it's not organized, so I don't think I can share a photo of my cat here. Yeah, I don't think it. I'm not sure it would be particularly popular either. It's not the cuddliest cat in the world. All right. So, let's take a look at. Okay, I'm gonna not up, and I'm just gonna like weekly challenge. How many applications do we get? Oh my God, we got a few. First out of the gate, first person to finish this week, Jack Lack. Awesome entry. Jack Lack does like a different concept design every single day on the dailies, and I've just been blown away. I think they said that they've done like 1,500 of them or something at this point, 1,500 daily posts. It's unbelievable, the work that's being put in. And so this is a really classic interpretation of it right here. And this is awesome. Chong has got a full frame illustration, full frame, full color, trying to make everyone feel bad. And there's a cute sloth in it too. I dig it. Very cool. And then Sleepy, is this really for the challenge? This is so fucking good. I feel like, I mean, it is a traveler. Not used to finishing a whole image in a week. It was hard but a fun challenge. Oh my God, this is way beyond what I was expecting out of these challenge entries. You guys are absolutely killing it. Like, this is really cool. Great job, Sleepy. Do you have a link to the rest of your stuff in your profile? No, of course not. Why would you, right? I had to. Like the excited Pepe. I think Dustin added a bunch of these reactions on here. Excellent, excellent. I mean, this is just fantastic. Oh my God. Shun Carry On, Vlad. Again, with a fucking killer entry, a full illustration. I expected like I was going to maybe throw a loose, wondering if I should participate along with you guys, because I'm doing a lot of the studies along with you guys. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll throw in something quick, some quick concept art or whatever. And clearly the interpretation was to go completely ham and put out like a complete illustration, something that could even be like made into a print or whatever. This is just awesome, like what you guys are putting out here. And now, like, I'm sure everyone who saw these roll in, because this is what this is from 3 days ago. These are all last minute. These got posted this morning because I was worried that maybe these entries started coming and everyone got nervous that they weren't trying hard enough. And then, like, now we're not going to get to see all the entries because there was somebody who did like a really good sketch and they didn't feel like they got far enough or they're not good enough, and then they just like bailed. But it seems like everyone was kind of finishing it all last minute, which I appreciate. There's like a real conscientiousness of the deadline here. Well, you're in luck, Rayhek, because even though you weren't able to participate this week, we're going to be like starting a new one. So I'm going to be posting another challenge today. I think we're going to talk over what the prompt should be today on the stream, and then I'm going to lay out the instructions over on the weekly challenge prompt over here, and it's going to be a really similar thing for next week, and we're going to take a look at what everyone's made, and it's going to be another kind of like, I like these kind of vague prompts, but I'm totally happy to like get some feedback. Max Calaman's asking, how do I join the weekly challenge? So it's really easy. I'm going to post the Discord one more time. I've been spamming it here this morning. You go to the Discord. I'm going to be posting the weekly challenge prompt over here under the Learning tab, and then underneath it we've got this channel where people are posting their finished entries. Honestly, it'd be totally fair to post work in progresses throughout the week as long as it's relevant to the challenge. And then we're going to take a look at everyone's challenge entries on Friday, and I don't want it to be like a competition yet. I mean, maybe we'll all decide that a competition makes the whole thing more fun with a prize or something. I don't feel qualified to judge the entries to say which one is the best. I don't see it. I'm in the Discord. Okay, so here's the problem that I've been running into is that Discord does this thing where they're like, we want to make sure that you're only seeing the channels that you believe are that you're likely to interact with, and so it will like hide channels it doesn't think are relevant, and I don't think I have control over that. So there is, yeah, you go to the search channel on top. Where is it? Yeah, go to browse channels, and you should be able to find it from there. And there's some settings somewhere, and I've learned about the setting, but I haven't seen it personally, that allows you to like have it stop filtering the channels so you can see all of them. Because this makes the whole thing a lot harder on us. It's because like I was getting the same complaint about the Today is the Day reference channel. Ah, I see it isn't marked. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I'm glad we were able to solve that. Jazz. Are you here, Jazz? Yeah.
Yep.
Damn, dude. I love the bunny girl.
I mean, don't we all?
I mean, it's excellent, man.
Thanks. I feel like I've leveled up my drawing a bit recently, and I did it the way you always suggest to everybody. Just like spend forever like referencing one image, like trying to get the same look.
Yeah.
Kind of working. It's not 100% there. I'm not drawing exactly like Hamsung Tool, but I'm like way closer than I was before.
Well, I love the drawing. I love the design. I mean, your designs, I've been a huge fan of for a long time. So it's great to see that you made time this week to enter this. It's really cool shit, man. And
Thanks.
Al, what? Were you gonna say I cut you off?
I was just saying thanks. That's all.
Oh, okay. One of these days, you'll get the full-on Hamsung Chul like imitation all the way there at 100%, and then I don't know, you'll like ascend onto a higher plane of existence. Maybe you'll be able to like go find him and take his skin, wear his face.
He actually like shed his skin, so
Uh-huh.
to speak. Oh god, this metaphor is gonna get weird.
Uh-huh.
And like stopped doing these awesome drawings that I love so much, and now he paints them, and I hate the choices he makes about like color palettes and stuff like that. So I'd like to worm my way into his shed skin.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
like be old school Hamsung Chul.
Back when he was good before he sold out.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I like the old album. Avalon's got a nice entry here. It looks like they're just figuring out some stuff. So I'm really glad to see that we're not just getting all like fully professional work in here, because I want this to be a space where people are like learning and trying stuff. Like I think one of the things that we're not doing enough of on the server is doing work from imagination. Because, like, I've structured it to be all about, like, we're doing daily studies. I'm doing daily studies all the time. And I think as I'm getting kind of, like, going with that, I might have to, like, figure out a way for myself to incorporate more imaginative work regularly. Because I really want to encourage everybody who wants to do imaginative work to be trying stuff out. And, like, one piece a week is good. But like, I mean, like what you've been doing, you've leveled up tremendously by doing a ton of daily character design sketches. And I think that that's just like such a cool way to learn. And I would love to have more people give that a shot. Iori over here is working in 2D for the first time I've seen. He's done some incredible 3D work. He's a professional 3D artist. And he's also done like a bunch of like really cool VR sculpts. He's somebody I talked to back in the past. Let me see if I can find his Instagram, because he's got really cool, like, unique work. I see him floating around in the voice chat every once in a while. IOU art in most places. So like he's got the same line and style, but like done onto a 3D model. So this is all his personal work. He works for a game studio full time, but then he's done all these like really interesting like VR sculpts that are kind of woven out of like individually drawn strands in 3D.
Oh, I love the skeleton knight.
The skeleton knight, this guy, he's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
cute. Yeah, it's like just a simple little sculpt, but I mean, it's a great design. And he has all these like really weird artsy treatments, and like to see the to see the 3D sculpts kind of like wound together with like virtual wire, I think is just such a cool idea. And then there's all these weird post-processing treatments on top of them too. So I love that he took some time to work on the challenge, and it's cool to see him like playing around with 2D for once. But man, I sure do like these. This stuff is crazy. I just don't feel like I've seen it anywhere else. And it's like super expressive too. Oh, fuck. Are we supposed to see this on stream? Yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe I should share the freaking screen. I was sharing the Discord the whole time. No wonder it didn't make any sense. I thought there would be a bunch of reactions in the chat. I thought there'd be some oohs and ahs, and like Dammy Killer is calling me out here for fucking this up. Yeah, okay, so here's the little Skull Knight guy that Jazz was talking about. And then I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen in the what do you call it? Discord here too. Turn on camera, VCam. There we go. So you guys can see what I'm looking at a little bit better without going on over to Twitch. So he's done all of these sculpts that are kind of made out of like woven out of 3D wire, almost like a hand-made 3D print, which I've just never seen from anyone else. And then he's applying this like lighting and coloring setup that gives it this kind of like, some of these look almost like they're black lit. Yeah, this is it's really awesome stuff. I mean, it's not only is it done really well, but it just doesn't look like anything else I've ever seen before. And so I just fell in love with it immediately. So he and I have hung out and talked a bit. You know, met on Discord a while back. And yeah, he's like does totally different stuff for work, but then his personal stuff he's posting out on Instagram is like really unique stuff. Totally different than what I'm used to seeing out of a 3D modeler.
Gotta respect the hustle of that too, like doing tons of awesome personal work while also working full time. Like, damn.
I don't know if it's tons. I mean, I remember seeing some of these from a while back, so it's like I don't know how much time he's been able to spend like on his own part time. He's around here. You'll see him hanging around on the Huckleberry Discord quietly, like lurking.
Oh.
I see him. I call him out every once in a while, just saying hey. But he's not a known character, I think, so much just because he's a quiet guy. But I want to highlight his work because I love it. And yeah, like where else are we seeing stuff like this coming from? So yeah, the VR sculpt thing I think is a really cool idea. But he's posting all kinds of interesting experiments all the time. Yeah, you can follow him over at iou.art on Instagram. That's where I usually see his stuff. All right, back to the Discord. Discord. Oh my God. There it is. I made it. Okay. We were looking through the entries for this week's weekly challenge. And then last one, we got Fajodo, who is making a series. Didn't realize the prompt was so chill. This is what I've been working on this week. Okay. I was like kind of curious how this was a version of the prompt. This is still really cool, though. I wouldn't say this is like necessarily like fitting the prompt, but this is really, really cool. I love this idea of like the different card suits.
Depois do meu pai, mensagem. Por bem maior. Não, até porque, enfim, parte do meu estúdio vai me dar preguiça de fazer, mas eu sei que depois que eu fizer.
I'm gonna mute Matsuya here. Sorry, Matsuya. We hear you talking. I think like I mean I've been having conversations with people recently about making playing card decks. Like Jazz, you were talking about doing playing card decks too. Like
Yep.
and so being able like the pips are always an interesting challenge. I did a Angelarium deck and we ended up designing our own custom pips that were kind of like in the style of Angelarium, trying to find something that was like a little bit unique. These are probably the most elaborate pips I've ever seen for a playing card deck. So this is a
Yeah,
really
dude.
cool swing at it.
I'm sitting here like, man, it would be cool to do like a custom playing card deck, and then I see other people making these extremely elaborate designs for like the suits or whatever. It's like, damn.
Yeah, I wonder how this would
up
work.
my game.
I would love to see how this comes together. If you're still Fajodo, if you're working on this, like what it's going to look like when it all comes, like what you're thinking about for the face cards and stuff. Like it would be great to see you. I mean, I know you're like playing around with a few different ideas and going indie and like what it means to make merchandise and for your brand and stuff. And so I'd be really curious to see what the face cards look like that you have ideas for your deck.
Oh yeah, so I do have some ideas for it. So I want to. The idea is to like turn them into prints that I can like sell off like individually, and then also wrap it into a card deck, and then also maybe even take the pips and turn them into pins too. So it's like a multi-layered thing of like ways to merchandise it. So like that's just my plan for right now.
All right. Well, it's a cool idea. I don't think I've ever seen pips that are this detailed before. I don't know if that's like means that it's a bad idea or a good idea, or like maybe if there's like an ultra simplified version of them for like when they're on the card small, but then you have like ways of using them within the product where you get these larger, closer looks at them.
Yeah, so I'm trying, like right now I'm trying to figure out exactly that problem. Like whenever I scale them down, like how well do they read, and like are they gonna be good enough to do like the number cards and stuff?
Yeah, but I mean for the aces, that like I could see even a more detailed version on like a larger like ace card.
So for the aces, I was actually, so each one is based on like a mythical creature.
Yeah.
And so I was gonna do like an illustration of the creature. So like the spade is a phoenix. So like I'll do an illustration of a phoenix. Diamond is a unicorn, and then the club is a Ouroboros. So it's like 3 snakes, but maybe I'll do like a Medusa thing or something. And then the heart is a kraken. So like that's the idea for right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool idea. It's definitely unique. I haven't seen anything like this before. So that's really cool. So what do you guys think we should do for next week's challenge? Do you have any ideas for prompts?
For Frazetta and
I mean,
tigers. Maybe
no matter
something
what
like
the prompt is, I'm just gonna draw a cute girl with bunny ears. So I want to make a set of 3 of them.
Oh no! Here, did you, Jazz? I mean, Ace, were you saying Frank Frazetta?
and tigers.
And
Yes.
tigers. I think the Frazetta challenge would be really cool, where everybody needs to do their own interpretation of like Frank Frazetta's work. I'm actually friends with Frank Frazetta's granddaughter, so I could absolutely get her in here to take a look at the entries next week. Her and her boyfriend run a brand called Frazetta Girls here out of the town I live in. Let me see. And so they're making like brand new merchandise and stuff, as well as building like original comics and things, all based off of Frank's work. And so like they run this from around here. They're awesome to hang out with. Sarah and I are friends, and like I think she would get a huge kick out of you guys all doing Frank Frazetta tribute work, and then would absolutely come on here and take a look at it next Friday if I can give her a little bit of advance notice. Oh yeah, they just did a bunch of Frank Frazetta cards for Magic the Gathering and stuff, and then I think that sounds like a really interesting idea to me. I don't know how you managed to pull, like, I don't, what inspired you to bring that up? Ace?
I'm here.
But what inspired you to bring it up?
I like precision artists that are like that.
Okay.
They're just more interesting.
All right. Well, I mean, it suits me just fine because this is something that I've got a connection to, so we can actually like, you know, the idea of doing a guest judge was something I wanted to do, and this like lines up with that perfectly. So I think for next week, we're gonna do Frank Frazetta tribute as the challenge and see what everybody can do. So, and if it turns out really bad,
Yes!
then I can feel comfortable in blaming you for it. So.
What? No.
It's
You're
your
the one
idea.
who decided.
I mean, it's your
It's
idea.
my idea.
Ace, you gotta have confidence in your
You
ideas.
decided.
You gotta just be like, well, that's fine, because it's a good idea. It is a good idea, by the way. I like it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to do like an anime bunny girl version of like a Frank Frazetta painting sounds pretty
Yeah,
good.
that sounds like a lot of fun.
And like, you know, your safe space is to always do these like character designs on a white background. So this would actually force you to think a little bit about building a composition. I mean, the thing about Frank's work is like he did a lot of really abstract backgrounds.
Yeah.
So this actually, it makes it for doing really easy backgrounds potentially, because, you know, if you can like make something that's like evocative and painterly, you actually can just sort of support the character without having to do a ton of like actual backgrounds, like, you know, barely drawn eagle and a little bit of rock, and then everything else is just like, you know, an oil wash. Like it's pretty inspiring to me because like I love making sort of more minimal, simple, expressive backgrounds, and you know, he was taking it further on the minimalism than I think I've ever dared to do for my own illustrations. So this is something I might play around with also. I was supposed to do a cover for the Frank Frazetta Fire and Ice comic, but the publisher insisted that they needed to take the copyright from me, and so I told them I had to say no. It's too bad.
Damn.
Because Frank was actually somebody who defended his own copyright pretty aggressively. Like George Lucas asked him to do some stuff for Star Wars, but insisted that George insisted they needed to take the copyright. So Frank told him to fuck off and worked on Battlestar Galactica instead, even though it was like this tiny, shitty imitation that was like following along with the trend and success of Star Wars. And you know, the reason why was because it allowed him to continue to maintain control of his work. And now his work is like passed down, you know, multiple generations through his family. And so it's like, it's not just his kids, but that had been supported by the success of his career, but also his grandkids are like out there, like, you know, continuing to represent his work and continuing to keep it relevant and, you know, making a living off of like the you know, the IP that he created in his lifetime. And so that's sort of my long-term vision, is like one that extends after my own death in the mold of something like this. So I've got huge respect for the Frazetta family and what they've managed to do with the legacy of this guy's work. So what's going on in the dailies? I've been seeing just like I'm so proud of the amount of like work that's been happening in the Dailies channel recently. Like I was comparing notes with my friend Tim, and Tim said he might show up today. I wonder if he's actually going to show up. And we were talking about building online communities, and I showed him. I brought him onto the server yesterday, and I showed him like how much stuff is getting posted every day, and his mind was fucking blown. The idea that you guys have posted this much stuff over the last week is like totally unique. Like most of these Discord servers, they like pop up and then they die within like a few weeks because, you know, everyone's excited to check out the new hot place, and then, you know, the activity just kind of like slowly dies off, and then no one wants to be on the dead server, so they all migrate over to the cool new one. But holy shit, you guys have been like throwing so much momentum at this thing. Like we're only what, Beck? Still got a couple more days to go to get through to see like the beginning of this week's dailies. And then Jake, you're in here. You've been making like a ton of new like character designs and monster designs and stuff.
He does them every day, and they're like sheets.
Yeah, hi.
Hey.
Not just like one drawing. It's nuts.
And then yeah, Jackalak is also putting out awesome concept work nearly on the daily. So this is going back to this last week. Holy fucking shit, you guys. Okay, this is going back to last Friday. That was a lot of scrolling to get up here. So, Jake, how are you finishing one of these every single day? Are you able to talk? Are you busy?
No, yeah, I can talk.
Okay.
So I'm still working a menial job. I wake up, I draw, I go to work, I come back, I draw.
What's your job right now?
I work in fast food.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's legit. Which chain are you working at?
It's the Grussel. Oh, I work at an Arby's.
Arby's.
It's like 5 minutes away from the apartment.
Okay. Arby's treating you all right?
It's fine.
That's fine.
I turn off my brain.
Do you think about the concept work you want to do while you're at work, or do you just like save that for the time when you're actually in front of the drawing pad?
Like I have my notes app, and it's full of like madman ravings and just general character ideas. But like I know what type of project I want to work on. Like right now is I'm doing like the creature, and then I'm doing the armor to correspond to that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see.
Like
So like a
Monster
Monster
Hunter.
Hunter thing.
Almost like a Monster Hunter, Dauntless. That new game came out, Wayfinder. Been really inspired by that.
Oh, let me pull that up. I don't know that one.
It's by Airship Syndicate, the guys that made Darksiders Genesis.
I can never keep track of the Darksiders games, but is it that same guy, that the Darksiders guy that was also making this?
No.
No? Okay.
No, it's kind of like been handed down a couple of generations, like in terms of concept artists at least.
Yeah, it's still got that kind of like Joe Mad look to it. I guess it's like
Yeah.
the identity for the studio at this point.
Yeah, definitely. The main concept artist there, I think, is like Baldy Konjan, and he's really good. Very inspired by Paul Richards, who is like the original Darksiders guy, or one of them at least.
Cool.
But yeah, that's just what I've been focusing on.
I was just pointing up on the screen like a fucking idiot because I realized I'm on the wrong screen to be able to share stuff. I think I did the same thing with Frank Frazetta's work a minute ago. Fuck. People need to
When people know
call me out
Frank.
when stuff stops making sense. Feels like the old Tarjo is saying, it feels like the old conceptart.org with all the activity. Hell yeah, that's exactly the idea. We're gonna look at the sketchbooks in a minute, but like that's like kind of the vibe that we want to create with the sketchbooks, is to like create this record of people like pushing and trying to create better work every day and like checking out each other's stuff and commenting on it. Because I think that if we can like keep up with this kind of like vibe of like supporting each other and doing daily work and doing daily study, that like and like posting it all in one place, that we can collectively push each other forwards and like make cooler shit. Jackalak, come on, man. You gotta stop making. You gotta stop like demotivating people though. If you keep doing, I'm joking, but like this is this is what 1,500 days worth of dailies looks like. Apparently, that's awesome.
Yeah, his armor designs are unreal.
And Ace, you're doing your studies in color now.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Once in a while. Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice. It's fun just like smushing these colors. It's like I can see you started getting into like the vibe of just like putting down pure color and then smushing it around. It's a satisfying feeling. And then I don't know if this is actually traditional or if this is like a program that's intended.
It is traditional.
This looks like actual traditional Guanto.
Yeah, it is.
Putting down. This looks like gouache, maybe.
It is gouache. Yeah, I asked him.
Oh yeah, he's got the Giga Chad reacts going. It's awesome. And then Beast is over here with the very, very suggestive study. Very cool. Doing these really simple studies like this is something that like I'm building like the educational course. This is something I want to have as like assignments, is to have like a bunch of fruit, just because like when it's like we get so hung up on the idea of like drawing like the badass most cool stuff, Jake, and like and when it comes to like just learning to like spread colors around and stuff, like just trying to draw something simple like fruit is such an amazing place to like just get the basics of what it takes to lay down a color, what it takes to push down like highlights, and like just sort of figure out the basic mechanics of like moving things around. And so I'm when it comes to like actually creating a curriculum, there's going to be a decent amount of fruit in it, possibly an eggplant. The eggplant things, though, the eggplant's inspiring me right now. But I'm amazed that these are like post Arby's work. That's really an incredible effort.
Thanks.
And Ken Sharp, man, these look so good. Dead Space. we were having this conversation this week about like, hey, what's up with everybody not working in pencil anymore? That it seems like everyone wants to start all their sketches digitally, and that's just sort of become the standard. And now it's like this old head thing to do to like actually work in pencil. And I don't know. I still think that like pencil is like not only like the original tool. I still think it's actually in a lot of ways stronger than drawing digitally. And so like I am starting to notice all the people that are like posting like actual sketchbook work up on here. I think that's really cool. Fuck. The
I
little
haven't drawn
boulder.
in pencil since I like swapped over to pen for like my traditional drawings like 5 years ago.
Yeah?
And the reason I don't do all my concept art in pen, I actually kind of like the way my drawings look a bit better in pen in like some ways. But like the thing that happens when you try to do concept art in pen is you like do a good drawing except for like one leg or whatever. So then you have to like redraw the leg, and then you have to go into Photoshop and like attach the good leg to the drawing with
Yeah.
the good leg or whatever. Like
Yeah, I mean that's my thing is like I always start everything in pencil, but every pencil drawing I bring in ends up getting like deformed and lassoed and like moved around and stuff, because like I don't think I know how to make a good drawing traditionally, but I feel like it's an essential part of my process. Like I think that like it's just a little bit more powerful than working digitally for drawing in terms of like the mega like infinite fidelity. And like it's perfectly tracking your hand, and there's so much micro tactile feedback, and like the level of like depth you get with like pressure sensitivity and stuff is just, I don't think it could ever be fully simulated. And so that connection to the material, I think, creates a level of like fidelity and expressiveness that it just can't be beat.
agreed.
Skalka here. She's hung out on here a bit on the voice chat. She's really cool. She's from Poland, and so she's out here doing a bunch of rural. Maybe this is rural Poland, but or maybe this is. I see this place in my daily walks. Yeah, so here's rural Poland. This looks fucking awesome. Oh, Tim's in here. Oh, nice haircut, he says. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Tim, you should come on the voice chat. We're on the Discord here. Here, I'll post a link to you. There's the link to the Discord. We got on here last night. Yeah, these kind of gouache paintings. I've got an old friend that does gouache paintings a lot, and I've been meaning to give them a try a little bit because it's such a cool medium. I never can quite gel with watercolor, the sort of constant transparency of it. I just never feel like I can like commit to things because I want to be able to like nudge things around by kind of carving in on the edges. And like, so I got to give this gouache a try one of these days. I've like committed that I'm going to do it. Silite. This rendering style, this is so creamy looking. I don't know if this is like a brush thing or just like this is how their hand works, but I just love this feeling, this vibe. I was looking through my studies, weekly studies this morning, trying to figure out what about some of them I liked and which ones I didn't like. And like one of the things that I like get frustrated with myself about is like the kind of finish of my brush strokes. I want more creaminess like this. I got to figure out what the secret is. Yeah, I posted one of the master studies up. The actual painting for it is like fucking gigantic. This was part of a series, part of the Slav epic. Every once in a while we've got these people are other than Jake and Jackalak are posting imaginative work in the daily section, and it's like I'm trying to figure out how do we do more of it, because I know for some people it's like Jazz, you were talking about like when you were learning how to draw, doing like one study day and then one imagination day back to back and going back and forth. Is that right?
Sort of. I was doing like a page from Imagine, and like a dense page, right? It was like filling up the entire page with like quick drawings from reference, and then doing the same thing out of my head. And I would do that every day. Each page would take, it was about 2 hours a day, like 1 hour out of my head and 1 hour from imagination.
Yeah, but that mixture is really compelling to me because like I learned all of my technique from like just drawing imaginatively, and now I feel like I have catching up to do on like the study side. And but I know that it's like it's not okay to just do studies. Like you can just do studies forever, and that's like a recipe for like the Proco kangaroo, where like you try to go draw something imaginatively, and you're like, I've studied all the Loomis stuff. I've done all the weird like specific study materials crap, and now it's like you oh hey, Tim's in here now. Hey Tim, you can unmute whenever you want. And then you try to do something imaginative and you just don't know what to do anymore. It's like there's like this mixture of the two that is like super important. And I really want to like play around with that idea, but yeah, we got to figure it out. Like maybe on the today is the day I'm doing like photo reference every single day. Maybe there will be like a mix where it's like one day is like I have the photo reference, and the next day we do like a quick imaginative prompt or something. Like there's just like a description of what you need to deliver from imagination. I don't know. If you guys have any really good ideas for it, I'm open. Kim's study here looks so good. She's not doing the same stuff as us. She's got her own like boutique study material. She was on here like earlier and was saying how she had to go, but was like leaving the stream open to keep the numbers up. But I really love how people are able to like inject their personal sense of style into the study, stuff like this. When I was looking through all of mine, the ones where I had taken like a wilder swing on the style are some of my favorite. And that's what I love seeing other people's work. And like what I've been doing recently, I feel like I'm kind of challenging myself to do that. But I'm realizing I'd actually done it more intensely like a month ago or 2 months ago when I was first getting started. And so I feel like I've been getting a little too comfortable with like sticking close to the reference as I've been getting better at spotting it. And like now I think my challenge is to like do something like this where I'm pushing further into stylistic territory in order to make myself happy with these. Because like, I mean, this stuff just like tickles me every single time I see it. There's so much stuff in here. Oh, the boxed one. I didn't realize anybody did this. The reason I have boxed ended up in my reference folder because I was talking to a really smart guy, And he's like, the secret to stealing from other artists is that you don't steal from them, you steal from the people that they stole from. And I was like, really? And he's like, who are you stealing from right now? I was like, I'm working on a Yoshitaka Amano piece. And he's like, great. Yoshitaka Amano borrowed from this guy Boxed. Have you ever heard of him? And I was like, no. And so that's where I found this. And it turns out that, like, if you know Amano's work, and you look up Boxed, B-A-K-S-T, you end up with this stuff, and you can totally tell that this is where Yoshitaka Amano was stealing the whole pattern thing from in the first place. And that, like, if you wanted to, and so his advice is that if you want to steal the Amano style, what you do is you steal the Boxed style, and then you put your own spin on his, oh, not on the stream. You guys got me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. I need a little bit more interaction to be able to make sure I don't fuck this up every single time. So yeah, so if you wanted to get that Amano style, you need to go and steal the Boxed style and do your own version of boxed work, and then that will bring you towards the vibe that you're looking for. I thought it was an interesting idea. It was definitely like a big brain idea from a really smart guy. And I also thought it's interesting, like, if you could figure out who everyone was stealing from, then, oh, fuck, this is so cool. Then it would be like, it would give you this, like, greater perspective on sort of, like, where these elements are coming from. Because we always imagine that, like, we see a piece of art and we're just like, how did somebody come up with that? Like, the answer 9 times out of 10 is that they stole the vibe from somebody else. And, like, that chain of like borrowing goes back and back and back, probably to, like, you know, caveman times. And along the way, different people have sort of injected their own bits of their own style and character and stuff over the years. That all comes from, like, the culture that they were in, the stuff that was surrounding them. And so everyone's adding these teeny tiny little adjustments, and then every once in a while someone takes, like, a bunch from a lot of places, and, like, it becomes this kind of new thing that then gets rolled up into the style going forward. And so I thought this was a really cool, like, moment of that. And so it ended up in my folder, and I love that, like, Arenas was doing a study and then changing the pattern work, like doing the idea of pattern work, but doing a different pattern than what was in the original reference material. Very cool. Jazz, I feel like you're drawing every day, and then you're, like, not posting every day.
No, it's I've been more focused on, like, trying to get I mean, there is some stuff I'm not posting, like the bunny girl I did. Like, there was another bunny girl that, like, I swapped to, like, the one I posted from in the middle of the week, because I liked how, like, I did, like, an auxiliary drawing because I was trying to figure out the design, and the auxiliary drawing was better.
Backup
than, like,
bunny
the thing I was
girl.
working on. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of, like, scraps and stuff that I, like, draw that I'm not posting. But yeah, I haven't been 100% about the studies every day because I've been so wrapped up in just, like, I don't know, like, trying to get other stuff done.
Sure. Well, I mean, not just the studies, but I mean, I figure I always imagine you're still busting out more original character designs all the time.
I haven't been consistent about that either. I need to get back into doing that. I feel like it's eating your vegetables, you know?
Oh, here we go. Is this actual pencil, or this is like a digital pencil that looks more like traditional pencil? Very interesting. I got it. Maybe I should try this one of these days. I'm, like, out here spitting mad game about how people should be using their pencil more often. One of these days, I should probably do my study in pencil. It has to be a day where I'm, like, doing the study off stream, so maybe from the weekend or something. But, like, yeah, that would be a really interesting one. Either doing it in pencil or maybe trying to do it in traditional paint and see what happens. Because, like, I mean, Photoshop for me is, like, easy mode, and, like, part of doing these studies is, like, intentionally to kind of, like, get me out of my comfort zone and have me, like, experiment more. So
Every day a different medium. Day 37.
no,
Drawing on the wall,
don't
art,
say
ketchup.
it. Oh, this is such a cool design. Yaki Lobby. And there's links. There's links. I love the link in the bio because then if somebody's going through here and they see like a cool post, like it's so hard like to find your way back to people's stuff. Like please post links to the bio so that like if people like you, they can find you and stalk you. Yeah,
Did
Summer
you see
Dragon's
Ash?
out here doing some traditional pencil studies. Yeah, that's great. I should definitely give this a shot. And Jazz, you're doing the anime study. Was this one of the ones that you gave me, or this ones I found? I think this one's you provided, right?
Yeah, that's from my reference folder.
Yeah, it's a cool piece. I kind of want to see you anime-fy some of the non-anime reference. Do you think that you'd try that?
Yeah, I was thinking that I'm still struggling a lot whenever I do like a really polished drawing to like do the hatching in a way that's like a good simulation of like form shadows and stuff. I think a good exercise to like improve at that might be to like try to like do drawings of photos in like the Hamsung Chul style.
Yeah, exactly. Ace, what is going on here? You know how to do ink stuff?
Hell yeah.
When did that happen? What the
Yeah,
hell?
did I do that? Yeah, I talk about it all the time, man.
Not with
It's
me.
crazy.
These are great.
Thank you.
So,
There are studies of other artists.
oh, okay. So it's not all imaginative work. Like you're studying other artists' style here, but you're
Yeah.
doing it in. Is this just ballpoint?
No, it's
Or-
in fountain and brush.
Oh my
Ace,
God.
can you not make us old
Hmm?
men?
Yeah.
This is my favorite part.
Oh, here. Yeah, I forgot to switch over. Yeah, I pulled it up into Photoshop so I could flip it and see it better. Very, very cool. Dang. Yeah, so you're going to be able to do the ink and you're going to be able to do the painting.
Of course.
And then you're going to
Gotta
be able
get
to
the whole
sing and dance and everything. You're going to be like, you're going to be a
Blatant
fucking
ass.
Tony winner. Yeah, you're going to be writing your screenplay and directing and starring in the whole production. It's going to be crazy.
Gonna turn into Mara McAfee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something about like this sort of half-constructed pencil look that I love the look of it. Don't know what's happening with the JoJo sculpt here. This is cool though.
That guy's actually doing all 50 characters in like the latest season of JoJo or whatever.
Oh my god. Is this the same guy that was doing the Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Same artistic brain.
Oh my god.
Mine.
Is he posting those in the sketchbook? He should be posting those in the sketchbook. And then Jackalag. I thought this was going to be for the Traveler, but I guess there's Jackalag's making too much work to like have just one of them. And Books is posting work in here now too. Awesome. And does he have links to his stuff? Yes, Nelson Blake number 2. I keep forgetting which one's the first name, which name's the last name on him. So I got embarrassed and call him Books. Screen name. I gotta do better with people's names. Yeah, Jazz, I want to see you do the Ilya Kuvshinov thing where you do anime style studies of a bunch of photos and stuff. He ended up basically getting 1 million followers by doing that. Like, so it seems like a good idea. I would do it if I was like actually good at drawing anime style stuff.
Yeah, maybe I could even post them too because they're like different enough that they're like kind of mine.
Oh wait, message cannot be loaded. Kim's reacting to somebody who pulled their entry over here. Wonder what happened. Nice, got Kojima over here representing. Kojima fan. This is so cool. Charlie, good work. And then Jake, I love this design. I know I was like calling you out saying it looked like Dead Cells, and then you were messaging me back like, "Is it bad? Did I fuck up?" I'm like,
You don't have to expose me like that, Pete.
But I don't know. I love Dead Cells. Like it's the silhouette. It's like the poofy
Yeah.
pants and the hood and like the hood with like the single glowing pink eye and then green skin with an exposed like midriff. I was like, that's got to be Dead Cells inspired, right? It's got to be. But
Yeah, I think it was more subconscious than anything.
it could be, yeah. But also like I remember back when I first met you, you were trying to like post badass stuff and you were kind of missing, and then you like receded back to like focusing on cuter things, which is more natural for you. And now you're going back in the badass direction, but like with a different mind towards like your own particular style and taste, and like you're kind of nailing it now.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm focused on like badass shapes more than like more than like traditional.
People know me
like,
for my
ugly
badass
orc.
shapes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like-
look at this fucking thing. Dasha like stylizing the study. It's so good. But yeah, dude, I love that you're going in this direction. It's crazy. It's been crazy to watch you develop over the course of the last year. Did you post the
Yeah,
full thing in
it's,
your dailies, or is it in your sketchbook?
I think I posted the whole thing in my dailies. I've just been posting like literal like what I do in like the digital sketchbook in my sketchbook.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably upload like progress pics too in there, so you
Yeah.
can get like a general feel.
Yeah, Kim throwing the style on top of the reference. I dig it. I'm gushing over all those, and now everyone's gonna be like, if I want attention, that's what I've got to do. Yeah, there's just I'm scrolling through them so fast because there's so much to. Oh, here it is. Acolyte of the Worm. Yeah, this guy's cool, man.
How are you
Nice.
doing this every day while working at Arby's?
Just
So
counting
great.
down those hours to get out of Arby's. Oh my god, I posted this morning. It's already a study in here. This is so cool. And then Guanto. Ah, beautiful. I love the way that the orange pokes through at the edges of stuff. I wonder if I could fake that using digital. I wonder if I should try to like do that the way that like they do in that you actually do in like physical paint, where you sort of lay down an underpainting and then you let like bits of it show through. I wonder if that's like a real strategy to do with but with traditional paint, you get it showing through in this way where it kind of like color mixes. You get this kind of blending that happens of like the orange showing through. Fajoto's saying do an underpainting. Ryan Lang has been doing it with his studies. Okay. And then Hollow Knight, a man after my own heart. Very cool. All right, let's check out sketchbooks real quick, and then if there's time, I might try to jump in and do a quick study, because trying to do all talking and looking at other people's art is like maybe not the format. Oh goddamn. So I think did we get the sketchbooks going last week? So since Friday, we've got a fantastic number of people's sketchbooks getting created, and like everyone who's been doing them has been making so much stuff. I don't think we can go through everything. So I'm gonna pull up just a few of them here, and Calibers is the most recent. And like, yeah, just keeping up with the studies. Like I've been having, and then taking a more doing the study, but taking a more imaginative direction. That's a real option, isn't it? That's a really good option. Jazz, I don't know why did you break it by like editing your
I
opening
broke it.
Post?
Yep.
Oh my
It was
God.
like cropped weird in the initial thing. How do I
And
make
now it just doesn't have a photo at all.
Yep.
Can you
That's
post
exactly what
can you
happened.
edit it and add something up here? This is driving me crazy.
It won't let me. I don't know if I'm just being a Discord boomer or if it actually won't let me.
You can't
But I can figure it
you
out.
can't edit it?
Well, I can edit it, but it won't let me put an image in, like through
What?
the editing thing.
You can post the link to the Discord image in that post. It will show. Says Dammy Killer. I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay, all right, that makes sense.
Okay. Oh, if you like post a link in there and it's to an image that's hosted on another site. That's a good idea.
Alright.
Oh yeah, they goofed as well. I thought the Dragon Girl, after all of the many iterations and everything, I thought it came out really good.
Yeah, I didn't like it when it was done. I was like, oh god, it was such a struggle, and like, this is better than it looked, but it's not quite what I wanted. But when I like went to sleep and like came back, looked at it with fresh eyes, I was like, damn, I love that massively. Why didn't I like this? This is good.
Yeah, I mean, trusting your own perspective on a piece as you're finishing it is like always the wrong move. Like, it's so hard to tell when you're working on something. And then, oh, Kim's back. We're looking at sketchbooks now. I was saying nice things about you while you're gone. Sorry. But I really like the sort of faux watercolor thing that you've been pushing for on here. I think you're like pulling it off the way that you want to. And like, I have a feeling that there's like even more room for you to grow with it. So it's, if you can get a drawing that you don't spend like multiple weeks struggling with, it's like it should theoretically be a really fast and easy way for you to finish stuff. If you can get like a drawing that you really dig.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I felt like that's kind of where you ended up with here, because like this, I didn't see you like. I mean, this was done in a week, and I didn't see you like constantly like fighting it.
I mean, it was done in like 2 days. Like, I wasted the first 2 days of the week doing nothing but playing Baldur's Gate 3, and then I like
yeah,
got a false
Armored
start.
Core is currently on my PS5, and I'm doing this instead.
Oh man. But yeah, I had like a false start where I was doing like a way more ambitious like bunny girl, where she was in like a running pose and there was like stuff falling out of her backpack and stuff. And like I hadn't figured out the design, so I don't know. I said this before. Like, I did like a little like orthographic view to try to figure out the details on her outfit, and I liked it better, so I just like made that the thing. But I only had like a couple days to get it done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you blew it out of the water. It looks great. And then Min's got like also been one of our like hyper productive community members. He's out there like putting out tons and tons of new stuff over the course of 1 week. And this isn't even like in the daily. Some of these I think are reposts, like older reposts. But yeah, it's great to see that he's like posting tons of process work on here, because if anybody like is looking to do the same sort of thing, it's like always instructive for us to be able to see process work from each other. Because like when we're only showing the things that like we would want to show on Instagram, it can become like really difficult for people to tell, you know, how do you get to that point? Like if you can't see what the process steps are at times, it can like people get like weird ideas on like how people work and what the expectations are. But like when you get to see the way that it's broken down, oftentimes it becomes like much more digestible and easy to like borrow and learn from. Oh man, look at how creamy this is. Holy shit. I'm going to try to like, I'm going to mess around with my style a little bit next time I'm doing a study to see if I can up my overall level of creaminess.
You need a cream emote.
God dang it. That's some creamy ass rendering. I don't know how to describe it. I'm like kind of at a loss for a description. But also I was like checking these out, like this all being done in, I think this is digital graphite, but like this sort of like, you know, this kind of like hatching thing that's happening here. I don't like, this is the sort of thing that's like magic to me, because I can see the individual marks. I like kind of understand what's happening with the hand, but like I feel like to be able to produce something that has this level of like, you know, realism to it out of this really sketchy thing, it always feels like a thing that like magicians do that I, as like a normal artist, I can never pull off. So I'm always super impressed by seeing that kind of thing. So Silite Tyler, it's great stuff. I love it. Sleepy, holy shit. Oh my god, and they can paint too. What the fuck? People need, okay, at the very least, if you're not going to put it in the profile, somebody put links like somewhere in the sketchbook, because like I want to see more. I want to be able to follow you on Instagram, and I don't know how to do that right now.
Guys, could you please like stop being good? Like the point of being concept.org, like concept.org or whatever, is we're supposed to be bad and then be good.
Yeah.
So people can see the progress. It doesn't work if everyone's just good.
It doesn't work if everybody starts good. But if you're going to start good, at the very least, allow us to follow you on socials. And then Jack has got like a billion back posts to be able to share because of like 1,900 days of dailies. When I said 1,500 days, I was downplaying it apparently. So
Jesus Christ.
that's a lot. Yeah, they're working with Jay on one of Jay's like mini projects too. So that's really cool. And Jake, I don't feel like I've even seen all of these from you, man. I'm so glad I popped in here to check these out. Jake and I worked together. He was like one of my last mentees when I was doing like mentorships, and so I'm like particularly fond of his stuff because I got to see where it started and like be a part of the whole thing. But yeah, like on top of like doing the imaginative stuff, there's also all this like study work that he's done, and like I think he mentored with other artists besides me, and has been pulling together the instruction of multiple artists in addition to like doing tons of work for himself, which has caused him to grow like really, really fast as an artist. Jake, if you ever want to like post some of your throwback like pre-mentorship stuff, I think it'd be really cool for people to see like kind of transition.
That would be really motivating.
Yeah, I'm going to do that too. I'm going to make a note for myself I'm going to make a note for myself really quick to like go and post some throwback stuff. Because it's like, yeah, we're talking like, hey, it's like we want to show progression, but like for the people that are already like really experienced, you don't get quite so much out of it, out of getting to see that, because like, you know, we're catching it kind of halfway through the movie already. But yeah, but so posting the older stuff in there to create a little context, I think would be really, really helpful for creating the narrative.
Just imagine
Damien's
Jake
cooking
doing
over
like
here.
all his thumbnail sketches in mayonnaise on the sandwiches. Excuse me, sir. That's not a sandwich you're eating. It's farce.
Arranging the roast beef very delicately into a weird monster man. Oh, dude, you'll don't worry. You'll build that career. You'll get out of Arby's. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time.
It'll happen.
Just gonna find an opening.
Yeah, and also like, I mean, you're progressing really fast right now, so like it's like getting that portfolio. Like I remember like over the course of the few months we were working together, you basically invalidated your whole portfolio and built a new one. And I think you could do that again.
Yeah, I'm on my way there. I already like a good amount.
It's inevitable, dude.
Oh,
We could
Real
make
Jengus
it-
did the opposite. Took an anime drawing and de-anime-fied it. That's an interesting idea.
But yeah, I really liked what Jazz was talking about with doing like 1 day studies and then 1 day imaginative.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing that for a while. I guess I still do it because like I'm doing like creatures and I do animal studies before it.
It was me.
Yeah.
I thought Jazz suddenly disconnected, and then here I was, the one who disconnected. Welcome back, everybody.
Dioda.
I don't know what happened. What were you saying as I bailed right there?
I was just saying I wish I were more consistent about doing like daily sort of like designs and stuff. It makes you really good really fast. That like rapid iteration
Yeah.
of like do a study, do a thing out of your head, do a study, do a thing out of your head.
Oh,
Especially if you do the thing out of your head like based on the studies. You're gonna like retain those forms.
Yeah, like
The
you want the
mutual library.
study. You want the study to be like relevant to the thing you're gonna try to do out of your head.
Oh, here's Iori. I was showing his 3D work earlier on his Instagram. I guess he has done more 2D work. I hadn't seen it before. This is my first time seeing it on the sketchbook. This is really cool. It has this like really expressive, mark making that like it exists in both the 2D and the 3D stuff. It's really cool. It's interesting. Like I feel like you can almost see the style in both that's the same in the 2D as it is in the 3D. And like the little whatever's going on back here is also very cool. Dude, I love it. I kind of wonder what it would look like with that this kind of like the loose expressive marks that are making up like the VR sculpts, like to make a kind of organized pen drawing out of it or something. There's so much potential. Oh, I thought nobody did the the FLCL study because I didn't see one in dailies, but I guess Iori was holding it down over here. Nice. Recommends. He understands. He recognizes taste and quality. And then Arenas, I love the box study. And then Arenas was also like throwing some, what do you call them? The boosts over on the server. The server boosts, like the next level, we get 300 people seating for the stage events. And there was something else that we get that seemed like really cool. We also get the custom invite link, which is the amount that it would cost to get 7 more server boosts is like incredible for the value compared to the value of like a custom URL. But the custom URL is like so it would be so nice, like as just like a totally like what do you call it? Just a totally vain thing. I would love to be able to like have the custom invite URL because I'm always trying to invite people to the server and I'm always generating like new URLs to like create permanent links and it's like all gobbledygook and it's always different every time. And I just wish that I was able to like get the custom one. So one of these days, you guys don't need to donate, but like somebody who's new can come in and donate so that eventually if we grow the server large enough, there's enough boosts, we'll have like a cool URL to like bring people in with. That'll be awesome. Summer Dragoness showing off her work. Awesome stuff. I love traditional painting and drawing. It's there's something about like the sort of infinite fidelity of traditional work that when you can see the confidence in the mark making, that it's like this really direct connection back to the artist. I know she had been talking about having some issues, some medical issues that made it harder to keep like a steady hand. But yeah, there's still like this incredible sense of control in the mark making in here. It's awesome to see. So yeah, I'm posting my own stuff in here too. If you guys want to see like my works in progress and my daily studies and stuff, I'm keeping it all in one place here. And then Ace, I think this is the last one we're gonna look at. Ace is like, how old are you, Liz? Like 17?
14.
14? Fuck. You're 14? I was honestly thinking of like, maybe I should make it so that like kids aren't allowed in here so that grown-ups don't need to worry and then it's not going to be overrun by like Fortnite kids or whatever. But I wouldn't kick you out ever because like you've been super cool to hang with and you're studying like so intensely and like taking this really seriously. I don't know how it's possible
like...
that like a cool 14-year-old is hanging out here, but I'm not sure. You're not supposed to be here hanging out with a bunch of fucking adults, okay? It's not all right.
Oh man.
But it's been awesome to see your work and it's been awesome to see the really fast progression. I guess your brain's still soft as shit, so that would explain why you're learning so quickly.
Yeah.
It's not old and calcified like us, 30-somethings. Jesus. I like yeah, when I last had a job, you were 4 years old. That's crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
I know. Like when I've known some people who like when they were like 18, 19 years old were basically like fully professional artists. And the trick to that is you just like do all this stuff when you're younger. Like one of my friends who I can think of, like she went to like an arts high school and so was basically going through this process of doing studies and like putting up getting a lot of pencil time in, getting a lot of line mileage in, like throughout all of high school. And so by the time she graduated from college, she was like already working as like a full, professional, doing like, working in animation, art director, and then like built like a big business and became like built a huge thing. And it was like, I was like, oh my God, how does somebody who's like 19 years old like able to do all this stuff? It's like, yeah, you do the same number of hours as everybody else. You just happen to start way earlier.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
I would
possible
do
to start someone before like puberty, because I think the brain kind of reformats at a certain point. So like pushing little kids into this stuff, I don't think it would be productive. But I think once you kind of like started to mature, like around 13, 14, if somebody were to get into this, like I think they could get 5, 6 solid years and be at an age where no one's taking them seriously until they see their work and then suddenly like just like fall over. It's totally doable. But it
Didn't
doesn't
Frank
happen that
Frazetta-
often because it's tough like to be that committed to an idea when you're at an age when like no one expects anything of you. You know, nobody takes you seriously.
Yeah.
Didn't Frank Frazetta like get into like drawing like pretty seriously when he was like a little kid? His like
I don't
aunt
know.
was
I
like
guess I
paying
don't-
him like nickels or something for every drawing he put in.
It's like that like old Depression era story of like,
Yeah.
I used to draw for a nickel and I thought that was a great deal. I don't know. I never met Frank. He died before I was like kind of around enough to meet someone like him. But yeah. So I don't know. I've only heard Sarah's stories about him. LGN artist saying, I'm 38 and I started drawing 3.5 years ago. Yeah, I've known a bunch of artists that actually started in their 30s or 40s. I actually know there's one artist who's really incredible, and she started after her kids were all grown up, and so she started, I think, in their 50s, where it was like she had been around art, she developed a really strong sense of taste, she knew what she wanted, but she never found time to do it while she was raising a family. And then as soon as her kids were like grown out of the house, she like instantly pivoted to being like a successful fine artist. Like it took like no time, just because like there was a clarity of vision there that was already present, and it was just a matter of like getting the paintbrush, and she already understood all this stuff because she was like married to an artist and around artists, and so it's like I've seen people develop at like super young ages and much later in life. Like there's not a point where it's like you're too young or too old to really get into it. So I have a pretty open mind about like whether or not people can like are it's too late for them to start or like too young to be taken seriously. I have people that I respect that like cross like huge boundaries of age. I try not to take it too much into account. 14's pushing it, all right? Jack
Taking it too far.
Nelson Blake saying that Jack Kirby started Fantastic Four at 44 years old, which I mean maybe that I don't know if there's a numerology thing there. Like maybe that's why he was thinking Fantastic Four, because he was thinking about his age. But yeah, that's so real. I mean, I'm about to turn 40 in a couple of months. I'm turning 40 in October, and I remember being freaked out a little bit as I was turning 30, but it also seems like it was only a couple of years ago, and that's probably freaking me out a lot more. So it's like, but like I'm like getting into studying for the first time at the age of 39. And I'm really excited about the possibility of like learning new things and developing new skills now. So we had a question in the general this morning when I was posting shit. Where was it? Yeah, Sindari was asking. I'm almost afraid to ask, but have you guys got any tips on how to find the courage to draw again? I used to draw so much as a teen in school, and now I can't pick up the pencil because I get so discouraged whenever I want to start. I thought this was like the biggest question I had seen on the internet in a long time, because I imagine that a lot of the people that are coming to a place like this are probably in a really similar situation. Like, I wrote out a whole long thing, but like, honestly, like I've been thinking a lot about the subject of like, you know, like how do you get started on trying to do something when you know it's like a long path and it's really hard, and you have either like dropped it a while ago or like put off starting for a really long time. Like, how do you say that like today's the day? Like, what does it take to be able to make that choice? And I feel like I've been able to do that recently with some stuff, but honestly, like I feel a little bit like I'm shooting in the dark here. The best I could come up with is that, you know, kind of built off of what I learned about a meditation practice, which is that like in meditation, like when you are doing it, like the goal of like a focused meditation is just focus on your breath. And so you just breathe and you focus on your breath and you just try to think about the breath, but then your mind starts to wander and you fuck it up because no one can think about their breath for extended periods of time without them thinking about the way they're thinking about their breath, or starting to think about a thing that starting to feel a thing and then thinking about the thing that makes them feel that thing. And like your brain just goes crazy when you try to direct it like this. And then the actual, so what meditation teachers teach you is that like the actual act of meditation is not accomplishing focusing on your breath. The actual act of meditation is returning to the breath after you lose it. And so the practice, every time you fall away from it, every time you fail, and then you push yourself back on track, that's like one rep. That's the skill that you're actually practicing when you're meditating. And I thought that was really interesting. And now I'm finding that same philosophy has been really useful to me when it comes to this idea of like, I've been putting something off for a long time. I was trying to make a habit and I was getting a streak going and then I fucked it up. Like, what do you do when you feel like you're letting yourself down? And it's like, it's the same thing that you can do in like this really tiny instance. It's available in like a larger instance as well, where you have to just like acknowledge the fact that you've fallen away from your goal and that you commit to going back on it. And if you can consider that act of getting back on to be the real goal, it becomes a lot easier. Because the narrative of it becomes a lot more manageable. Like you just presume you're going to fail. Like failing is an essential part of the process, and then you focus on being able to come back to the thing that you intended to do. And so continuously like realigning with your intention like that, it's like it's not as hard because it presumes that you're just going to have to keep doing it. It's like that's what the practice of it is. And I think that when we expect ourselves to be like good at our practice, like good at drawing every day, or like just even like showing up for drawing every day as like the real practice, it's like if we stop doing it, if we ever make mistakes, we're going to be embarrassed and we're going to want to like hide away from that feeling. And that just leads to like procrastination and putting it down. And like, I don't love that idea. I've been there too many times and I don't like it. And I've been trying to figure out a way of solving exactly the problem that Sundari's bringing up here. And I feel like it's getting closer, this idea of like returning to the breath, returning back to the practice. And like when I made the daily channel, I made it called Today is the Day because I kept finding myself saying this a lot recently, where I was like saying, oh, I'm going to study today, or I'm going to post on social media today. All the things I was like putting off. I was like, today's the day. I'm hyping myself up. Today's the day that I like do the thing that I've been promising myself to do. And I thought maybe just like the mantra of it or the hype of it was like the point. But the more I've done it, the more like I've also screwed it up and then immediately gone back to it. And I'm realizing that process of like doing a daily habit and then like having a gap, messing it up, taking a break, whatever, and then getting back on it is so much more powerful to me than like this big gesture. You know, you go to get your gym membership on January 1st, you feel like a fool, but you're like, no, I'm committing. I would say like if you really actually wanted to do it, it's what you need to watch out for. Just like go ahead and do it, whatever. But like only consider it a success if you can come back after you fuck it up. That like coming back after you've made the mistakes, that's the real challenge. And that's the only thing that I think that you should be worried about in this, instead of like, how do I prevent discouragement? Like the answer is that like you do it and then you expect that you're going to like let yourself down again, and then you commit to doing it again. And that commitment back to that center point, that's the game. And I'm curious if that advice is going to help anybody. If you try that yourself and it works for you, let me know. Because like I want to find advice that's actually going to help people, that's like broad advice that's not so directly aimed. And if that's a practice that we can all like try out and it works and help each other with it, like that would be good to have one more tool in the tool belt to be able to help people who are struggling the same way. And thank you so much, Burke Eds, for the for the T1 sub. I guess I managed to give advice so good someone gave me $5. And so I'm gonna end like the community focused side of things here. There's usually another half hour that we do. So I was just gonna like pop in and start working on a study and actually get to my daily practice today. Like typically on Fridays I'm like doing my daily after the stream. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do it today. If you guys missed it, this is the I posted a photo of like I was talking about my office yesterday. This is my office entrance. This is a photo I took today of my office entrance. This is what it looks like when I go to work. All right, so back to the main screen, pulling up Photoshop here. And then I'm gonna pull up like, I forgot what today's daily was. I posted it this morning.
Ooh,
Tim, what do you think? You're an advice guy. You love advice. You love a good, like, holistic, feel good moment. What's your thoughts on this idea of sort of like returning back to the, like, anticipating failure and focusing on getting back to returning to the practice?
Oh gosh, Pete, you're putting me on the spot like this. Come
Yeah,
on.
I wanted you on the stream. I wanted to have you on as a guest. You're a secret guest right now.
I mean, you were doing such a great job with all the advice and whatnot. I was just enjoying listening. I'm drawing just listening to you. It's great. I agree with what you're saying though, like almost all of it. And I love the mentality.
Almost all of it. Almost
all of it. No, actually most of it.
No, I mean, I'm open. What do you got? What's your, but this piece of advice in specific, what's your impression? Have you found this to be true for yourself, or like, do you disagree? Like, what do you think?
So is it just on what you were just talking about?
Yeah, or I mean, if there's something else I said earlier you want to check me on, you've got the qualifications.
Man, I'm trying to think if like there's been a good piece of advice that I've heard recently that I'm like, oh, this would help other artists a lot. Okay, I got one.
What do you got?
Just know it never gets easier in a way that don't put pressure on yourself feeling like once I get to this point in my career, it'll get easier. And I kind of like how you're phrasing it, Pete, where like keep it challenging. Always try to keep yourself in a state of being like slightly uncomfortable, because that's when you do grow and that's when you do learn. And I think a lot of artists feel stagnant when they don't push themselves anymore and they just kind of regurgitate what they already know works. And yeah, sometimes it'll do well on socials, but are you really growing as an artist? And I guess that's a question a lot of us have to ask ourselves when you start to make it in quote unquote as a successful artist. Like, do you want to continue adapting and growing, or do you just feel comfortable at where you're at?
That feels like a criticism that I've definitely heard you level about like people online. Like you're like, I think people aren't pushing themselves, and I'm trying to like baby them. I'm like, no, they should be allowed to be like lazy, and you're like, no, they should have to work harder. We should all have to work harder. And like, I feel like I'm coming around to your perspective on this. Like, I think like the idea of us pushing ourselves is like, it's something I feel like I've avoided for myself.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like I'm guilty, number one. Like, I don't want to accuse anybody else of being like, oh, they're phoning it in, they're just like doing it for the clicks or whatever. But like for myself, like I've quietly felt that way about my own work for a bit. And so
look at what you're doing. You're doing these studies where you're trying to challenge yourself, whether you're making it more animated.
Yeah, I am now. What about the last like 5 years though,
Well,
yeah, I think
There you go.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, right? Like you're doing it now.
Yeah.
That voice that says, "What about the last 5 years?" is really irrelevant when you're doing something now, right? I think what people try to do is like, imagine people think of it like they fell off of a ladder, like when they're trying to get back into something they haven't done it for a long time, whether it's working out or drawing or what have you. It's like I fell off the ladder and now I got to climb up all of those rungs again just to get back to the same place. But it's not really like that. All that matters, like the whole getting back to it, anybody who's in really great shape, 99% of them will tell you they fell off for a day, a week, sometimes even months. and then got back to it. And if you see them in shape in the moment, you know it doesn't matter that they fell off. So whether the fall off is a day, a week, a month, 5 years, once you get back into it, it's all a part of you, you know, and the skill that you get when you fall off and you get back into it, you get the skill of showing up, right? You get the step, what you talked about, of like returning to the breath.
Yeah.
That is a skill, and it's a very valuable skill, because this idea that all of the successful artists in the world are like 7 days a week, they wake up and, you know, sit down in front of the computer, the art tablet, or, you know, art desk, and they just get going and 8 hours a day. I can tell you that is definitely not true. Right? That is not true for almost anyone. There are few people in the industry who do that. Those people are crushing it so incredibly hard. But the bulk of professionals have ups and downs, and that's okay, because art is your view of life turned into visual imagery, right? So you have to sometimes stop doing art and live life. And sometimes that's longer than you want it to be. And that's perfectly okay. But the thing that gets in the way of it is when the ego says, I have to get back and get to the top of this ladder. You absolutely do not. Right? Like, unless your editor or your art director is saying you have to do that, you don't have to do that. You can just draw, you can just paint, and you can just enjoy painting. That burden is just coming from the inside and is entirely fictional. So I think the solution for people who want to get back into it, get rid of that storyline, get rid of that fiction, pick a very small, attainable goal and just accomplish it. Literally, even if the goal is just to take a piece of empty canvas and scribble on it for 5 minutes. Nonsense. It doesn't even have to be drawing. But that right there still broke a barrier that you had, because now, instead of all of this stuff going on in your head, some of it happened in the physical world. And the feedback that you get from the physical world is always going to beat those kind of phantoms of your ego that say, well, what about this and what about that?
Yeah.
Books in here dropping truth bombs once again.
Yeah, I love this.
Can I add to this? Like, I'm never kind of like, I'm kind of like over like, I know we've already talked about this conversation a lot, but I have like experience in this because I was like sick for like a year, and so I didn't do any art for an entire year, and that's for someone, like I went to art school, I went to art high school and art school in college, so I've never gone that way without drawing, and like I literally had to learn how to sit down and like draw again, and that was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But what I would say, like, what helped me is just like showing up. Like, no matter how much I do, I just show up, and like eventually I got to like the point where I can sit down longer. I say just show up for yourself and like make it easier, and like just talk to other art friends, because there's lots of people out there that like they take a year off, 2 years off, like, or they went to college for art and like now they don't do art. Like just talking to them, you realize you're not alone, and it gives you like more like it gives you like more like, it makes you feel better about yourself, because like I said, you're not alone. People go through things, and it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, shit happens.
I
had this kid. I was visiting Ringling a while back, doing a talk and stuff, and some kid came up to me and he's like, "Do you ever think there's anybody ever has a really good excuse for not following through with all their dreams?" And I'm like, yeah, like shit happens to people. And he's like, really? Because I don't think there's a good reason. I think people who believe that they're going to do it are just do it. And I'm like, yeah,
Agreed.
Spoken by somebody who's never had anything fuck up in their life. Like, shit happens to people. It's like, I was like, you ever taken care of a family member who got cancer? He's like, no. I'm like, exactly. Like, you ever have like a serious medical event yourself? No. Okay. You ever end up like so broke that you have to spend like all your time working 2 jobs? Oh, your parents like paid for you to go to college? Like, yeah, no, you worked really hard, but it's like there's all sorts of insurmountable things that like pull people away from like who they want to be and what they want to do. Like, it's not a real narrative to say that like you just should like believe in yourself and it will happen. Like things happen and like we need to come back from that. Coming back from it is like my whole point here with this whole rant is that like coming back from it is a real skill. And it's something that we all need to practice in like little and big ways if we're going to be resilient to the many things that are going to happen to us throughout our life.
Listen, if you need to come back from it, you need to look in the live Twitch chat thing and like the little box beside it. I posted a video that I look at when I'm going through it, and I need to come back from something. That clip has brought me back a few times.
Oh, wait. Oh, but this is
Stan
how do I full
Kargapenko
screen this? Fuck.
can come back from drawing that kangaroo. Anyone can come
I
back.
can't. Oh wait.
It's a little loud, so be careful. I
Hold
don't
on a
want you
second.
to
I gotta.
get hit with a huge wall of sound.
That's a good one. That's solid. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thanks, Wesley.
You know, Pete, I was thinking about it too.
Mm.
I don't know if you ever heard the metaphor of art is, or like the act of creating art is like breathing. And sometimes you need to inhale, which looks like you're absorbing the world around you. You're playing video games, you're going on walks, whatever it is. And then you exhale, and that's like the process of executing your art. And there's too many times where everyone focuses on the exhale, but they didn't inhale anything to exhale. And I think that's important to, obviously, I'm a big proponent of like doing the work, but I think it is important to also inhale and making sure that you're still connecting with the world around you first.
Yeah.
Inhale paint fumes. Got it.
That's tough. That's something I've always struggled with a lot. Like, I don't always know what to do with myself when I'm not working or playing FromSoft games. Tim, are you gonna play Armored Core?
I think I'm just too gay to play Armored Core.
That's not a real thing. I'm sorry.
It's not a real thing. Not a real thing.
You started getting into FromSoft games, but I looked at this and I was like, I don't think this is Tim's vibe. I don't think this is gonna happen.
I'm going to start Dark Souls 3 in November, though.
Okay. That's a good one.
Everyone told me that's the one I should start on if I haven't played the Dark Souls games yet.
But didn't you play a shitload of Elden Ring?
Yeah, I beat Elden Ring, I beat Bloodborne, and Sekiro.
Okay, you're not going to have a problem with it. I just play Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1's the OG.
Do you like that better than the third one?
I think so.
They have pros
The
and
third one is
cons.
an easier story to understand. I will say that.
None of them have easy stories to understand.
I know. Of the ones there, 3's definitely got the more simplistic route. Like 3 is literally just like, yeah, everything's screwed up.
3's a little bit more straightforward. I think the thing that's so cool about Dark Souls 1 is that it's kind of it's very mysterious, and I think the mystery adds a lot.
I was just told to skip the second one though. They said play
That's
if you
true.
want, but
I've heard some big talk from some Dark Souls 2 apologists over the years. They're wrong.
I'm one of them.
You're one of them?
I'm a Dark Souls 2 apologist.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
It
is-
took risks. It like departed from the formula.
It didn't take
I
risks. It didn't
actually-
have people who knew what they were doing. Like, that was why
To
it
be
was
fair.
different.
If you have a stat that gives you iframes for your dodge, something is wrong.
Yeah.
One of the stats you upgrade literally helps you get more iframes in your dodge, and you have to level it up, or you have like 1 frame of invulnerability, and it's awful.
Yeah. I never really dug that deep on it. I played through it, and then I was like, I remember being immediately disappointed at how ugly it was.
They lied. Like there are like pre-release like gameplay.
No,
like,
it wasn't a lie.
demos?
They couldn't get it to run on the console at the frame rate they needed to. They had an ambitious new lighting system, and they had to strip it all out the last minute. So they had to relight every asset in the game in like the last month before launch.
Oh, okay.
So
That's why it looks like ass.
it looks like that not as an artistic choice, but because they screwed up on like the technical side of developing it and had to like redo it all at the very last minute. And it was like a huge accidental disaster. And it was like, I think there's people who have tried to make like fan mods that like mod in the original lighting, but like, you know, there's a reason why like they had all like the lightable torches and stuff. Like there was the whole intro, like we have all these torches you can light. They had this big idea about lighting like torches that would like open up the world, like tiny bonfires almost. And they didn't do any of it because all the real-time lighting got torn out a month before the game came out.
Okay, yeah, I mean, so like, there's a lot of problems with Dark Souls 2. Don't get me wrong. It looks like ass.
Mhm.
There's some questionable balance decisions.
Oh my god, yes.
It has the lowest lows. Like, there's a lot of like enemies in it that like don't seem like they should be Dark Souls enemies, and like, yeah, there's some parts that really suck. It has like a bad ending. Yeah, a lot of low lows for sure. But they played around with like a lot more mechanics than I think they've ever like played around with in Dark Souls 2, and not all of them were bad. The decision to include weapons that double as sorcery and like miracle catalysts and stuff like that was awesome. It was extremely fun to play like a blue flame build. And they like didn't bring that back in like Dark Souls 3 until the DLC. And everybody loved it when they did it in the DLC. But they invented that in Dark Souls 2.
That's pretty minor. That's pretty small.
Okay, alright. So it has way more like spells and options and weapons and stuff like that than the first Dark Souls game does. Like if you go back and look at the first Dark Souls game, it's like, whoa, suddenly this game has like nothing in it in terms of like spells and build options and stuff like that. Dark Souls 2 expanded a lot. And I thought Dark Souls 3 was actually like kind of disappointing in some ways after playing Dark Souls 2, because so much of Dark Souls 3 is just like a second attempt at Dark Souls 1. There's like the fire area,
yeah,
because there was a fire
like,
area.
It's sort of like a weird HD remix where they're like, we're gonna basically just make another like a huge expansion pack for Dark Souls 1. Where we're gonna do all the things back to the way everybody liked it, and we're gonna make a lot of it, and it's gonna look really good.
Yeah, and like in Dark Souls 2, there were some like misses for sure. Like there's a lot of enemies where it's like, what? This doesn't feel like it should be a Dark Souls enemy, you know? But there's also a lot of enemies
and
that
a lot
were,
of
like,
bad
new.
bosses. A lot of bad bosses.
There's a lot of bad bosses in all the Souls games, though.
And like for a series that's known for their boss fights, having a shitload of bad bosses is a pretty big miss.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably got the worst boss fights.
This
Except
VOD
in
should
the
be called
DLC.
In Defense of Dark Souls 2. This is a weak defense of Dark Souls 2. I've had some people come like I've seen some Twitter posts that is just like incredibly hard, deep in the paid defenses of Dark Souls 2. This isn't it. This isn't it.
Oh. But okay, maybe I just really like the blue flame, and I'm just like coping.
That's what I'm getting. So I think it feels like a decent amount of cope you got coming here today.
The other thing though is like, goddamn, the DLCs in Dark Souls 2 were good.
Really? I don't play a lot of FromSoft DLCs most of the time. I like kind of get what I want. I do like one or two. I do a couple of like really intense playthroughs, and then by the time the DLC comes out, I'm kind of cached. Like
I don't know if you.
I played the Bloodborne DLC quite a bit.
Okay.
But I didn't, even as good as like the Dark Souls 3 DLC, as I never played it. And like I know about it, I like watched videos about it, but I've never played it.
You're missing out. I don't know if you trust
Probably,
me
yeah.
after I just said Dark Souls 2 is good. But like the DLCs are usually like significantly better than like the base game.
I mean, but here's the thing: a new FromSoft game came out today, so I'm not fucking playing any of these things until for a while.
Oh yeah, Makes sense. Makes sense.
I couldn't believe that they actually decided to do a new Armored Core. I was like kind of hoping to see what it was all going to turn into, because like I knew it was a real possibility. Like Miyazaki had made so much money for so many people that he could basically make anything he wanted, and like I knew that there would be something different. And I played Armored Core like 2 and 3, and so I knew that there was like a chance that we were going to get like a totally weird, modernized, Miyazaki-fied like Armored Core that was like high budget. And I wanted to see what it was. Like, it wasn't that I needed a weird big mech game. I just wanted to see what this thing would be if you threw $1 billion at like this like antiquated basically a PS2 game, you know, that no one cared about anymore, as just like a moment in history. And then we got it, and I'm happy that it exists. And now like because I feel like I wished on a star and then my wish came true, now I'm like obligated to play this game. I have to.
Wait, Pete, really quick. I gotta go to a meeting, but do you have any last minute nuggets of wisdom that you want to impart with me?
Well, on you? No. Not for you.
Beautiful.
But you should come back sometime and just hang out and chit chat and paint. Like, because I'm here every day around this time on here, and we're not usually talking about Dark Souls, and it's usually not just me giving out advice or feedback or whatever. It's usually this where I'm like painting and stuff. And so if you want to like hang out and like screen share and stuff on the thing while I'm working, like that'd be awesome to have you around.
This might be great because I'm trying to do more digital stuff and get more familiar with color, but I call it the new way of digital painting, which is a lot of like selection tool, gradients, and as you know, we were taught back in the day to like paint it like a painting, and I've always wanted to try this kind of new way of approaching digital art, so this might be a good way for me to try that.
Yeah, I'd love to see what you're talking about, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Beautiful. All right, well, you guys have a good day. This was lovely.
I'll see you around.
See ya.
Hit him.
Oh, that's it. Here, Tim's really good. I should pull up his art to provide context earlier on. Tim and I are old friends. He does a ton of conventions, so like inside the sort of fantasy artist or like illustration convention scene, Tim like is the man. He like knows everybody and coordinates with a lot of people, and like is always sort of acting as like introducing people. And he does like really intense like pencil drawing and gold leafing, and then he builds a giant gold convention booth to sell all the stuff at.
Oh god, animating photos is really hard. What the fuck? I have no idea how to draw a cat.
You trying? Yeah. I was thinking, what if instead of drawing the cat good, what if I drew the cat bad? Like, what if I just like for fun, if I wanted to stylize it, instead of trying to like just make these blobs turn into a cat at some point, what if I just did a cartoon of a cat inside the? Because this is already kind of a weirdly stylized image.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like anything could be better than what I did. This is not a good-looking cat.
Oh, I was asked to maybe move my VTuber around so it wouldn't get in the way so much. So I'm gonna. There we go. Now we can see the reference a little bit better.
Oh god. I have like an anime image open next to it too, just to remind myself of like what anime is.
What is?
Yeah,
anime?
and it's like I'm just drawing the anime image by accident all the time and not realizing it, and then I have to erase a bunch of it. I was too busy passionately defending.
Passionately defending the worst Dark Souls.
I guess one of them has to be the worst.
One of them has to be. I mean, it's not like I hate it. I beat Dark Souls 2. I thought it was decent at the time, but then I looked back on it and I was like, this is the worst one, easily.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I was really disappointed by Dark Souls 3 after playing Dark Souls 2. Just because Dark Souls 2 had so much new stuff in it, and then Dark Souls 3 is like, oh yeah, we got rid of like a lot of the new stuff in Dark Souls 2 that worked, and we also didn't like add that much new stuff. It's just kind of like Dark Souls 1 all over again, but like higher res. We
Yeah.
also made Anor Londo like not sunny anymore, so now it's like kind of depressing.
I don't know. I thought it was a big moment getting in there and being like, holy shit, it's Anor Londo. What the fuck? It's like I know my way around here. Like it's this meta moment that I enjoyed the hell out of at the time, and then I wonder, maybe now that you bring it up, I wonder if people like have serious criticisms about how it's like maybe a little bit too fan servicey. You know, that like for a game that is so known so much for its innovation, the idea that they would just like go back to an old zone is kind of weird.
Yeah, that's what I kind of got out of it. Not that I didn't like it, and it's probably like objectively a better game than like Dark Souls 2, but I don't know. I had a ton of fun like exploring the Lost Bastille and like that's such a good level.
I don't remember.
It's the blue one with like the ruined sentinels that like the pursuer takes you to, or you can take a boat to it from like Dead Man's Wharf or whatever.
Dude, I mean, it's been a long time since I played Dark Souls 2. I don't remember anything from it.
Okay. There's like a weird PvP area where there's like weird like dolls attacking you.
Nope, doesn't ring a bell. Like that was kind of the problem, is that like so little of the game stuck with me.
Oh, such a good level though. It had all these like classic Dark Souls like interlocking areas that like wrap back around on one another, and it had like multiple levels. There was like an underground area, and like Lost Bastille was a good area. I feel like I'm mostly just like the Blue Flame and the Lost Bastille. And it's just stuck in my memory, and I'm super nostalgic about it.
All right, so let's see. I am going to... One of the things I was thinking about doing more of is making sure that I get like a really, like do a bit of a stylized painted background a bit, which I've enjoyed the hell out of in the past. So like one of the things that I realized like made like some of the earlier studies interesting to me is I was actually sticking with my like traditional painting process a bit, where I jump into color as like the rough values come together. And then I moved away from that to try to like spend more time on the values first. And then I'm finding myself struggling with both the values and the color. And, you know, I'm surprised it took me this long to realize that perhaps I've actually been taking a little bit of a step backwards on that.
Oh.
I don't know if this shift that I have actually matters.
So while we got some time, what are your thoughts on the giveaway?
Oh fuck yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway. Yeah, let's do that right now. Like we were talking about doing a giveaway, and then there was like a lot of community stuff to talk about, and I went on a big thing. We had a little bit of a finale there, and yeah, we were supposed to be doing this. We're supposed to be doing a giveaway every Friday. Like that's the plan. So Dustin, like how you said we've got a solution to do this on the Discord. Like,
yeah,
I enter the giveaway on the Discord.
Yeah, I put a bot on the server, and there's a text channel called Friday Giveaway. So this I'm going to be remaking it pretty much every Friday to run the giveaway. So it's going to go away after today when we run it. So you're going to want to join that channel.
Friday giveaway
in general. Okay.
It's on the text channels.
Join Friday giveaway. Join the giveaway. We're gonna run on stream right now. Okay, I just put that in general for anyone who doesn't know.
Okay.
And then
yeah, because it's like it loves hiding channels from people now. That's like Discord's new thing.
Yeah, I have some default channels, but I didn't want people to get lost. But I could make them all default. And okay, so I'm gonna go into Friday giveaway, and once we've had people join, let's give it a couple minutes so you could continue on your thing and all.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna switch back to my main screen here, and I'll work on this. But we're talking about giving away another tablet. So if you want a brand new Huion tablet one of the pen tablets, just like the one that I use. We're going to be giving that away here in the chat. So it's worth it's about $50 with gear. It's going to be a great travel tablet. Works good with the laptop. But I use something like this on my main desktop thing. So what do people need to do in the Friday giveaway to enter? They just need to post a reaction.
I haven't started. I'm going through the dialogue right now. I will let you know as soon as it tells me how people can join.
Okay. I won't ask you questions.
Okay, one moment. What's being given away? I have to fill that in.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're doing a Huion, one of the Huion tablets.
Okay.
From the same as the one that's listed on the website.
Oh, okay. Let me grab how to spell Huion. Quick. It's this Inspiroi or the XP Inspiroi? Okay.
The Huion Inspiroi, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Though it's a pen tablet, right? Not one of the display ones.
Yeah, it's from the website.
Okay, yeah. Huion Inspiroi.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'm creating it. Give me a moment.
Man, this study is my Proco kangaroo.
Okay, so if you want to join the giveaway.
Yeah, it ends in 5 minutes, and it looks like people just have to click that button.
Oh, okay, they just need to click
party reaction.
Yeah, click the party reaction on the giveaway bot, and that will select you to enter. So you said 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Just so people know.
I'm posting the Discord link over for anybody who's in the Twitch chat. If you want to get in on this, head over there right now and probably rush because you've got 4 minutes now is what the thing says.
Yeah, join hashtag Friday giveaway to join that text channel, and then hit that little party reaction. We've got 6 entries so far.
Those are good odds, man. But yeah, it's not, as you might suspect, it's not like we're going to make a ton of money or get a ton of attention from this. We forgot to even bring it up, let alone promote it anywhere. It's just that I want to be giving away stuff every Friday during the community thing, and I wonder if maybe we slot it into the programming a little bit earlier. And and then
good.
Make it and actually use it to promote the stream. But at the very least, we need to get in the habit of doing it, which is part of the reason that I'm let's do it anyway.
What I think could be good is we could actually start it an hour out from the end.
Yeah.
We get a full hour's worth of people who can jump in on this giveaway action.
Absolutely. And I mean, I might stream for a little bit longer just because I just got started on my study right now. So I'm going to try to do a quick work of this thing, but I also would love to get it done on stream. Man, this gradient map has just been working for me.
It looks like the gradient map tutorial is a pretty big request from people.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm this either today or probably this weekend. Definitely this weekend. I'm going to be putting down some recordings to get the process started. All that.
Is that going to be a whole beginning to end? Here's how you download the gradient maps. Here's how you.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I can do that.
Because I know we don't have them available yet. So,
but
if you
getting
just
them up
want-
on the website is going to be really easy.
Right, right.
But what I'd probably do is put them somewhere so that if people download them, we have an option to stay in touch with them, and so use that as sort of an onboarding funnel.
Mm-hmm.
Inside baseball here. I mean, that's like what a lot of these downloadable brush packs ultimately do for a lot of artists is like they are fantastic as like onboarding funnels to like, you know, people download your free brushes, and then when you come out with your big tutorial later, then you get to email them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's our evil plan is we're going to be making cool shit, and we want to be able to keep in touch with people. And like the Discord's one of those ways, but we need to start building like a real ass mailing list. So like that we can be in your email when we've got cool stuff going on. And oh yeah, I've got the color wheel here now. And so like providing some free goodies, whether they are brushes, gradient maps, texture packs, whatever it is. That will allow us to like have an opportunity to get permission from community members to keep in touch with them, because we don't want to just be like scraping people's stuff and spamming them without their permission.
50 seconds left.
50 seconds? That was fast. It's a good thing I wasn't trying to finish this study before this thing was over.
We've got 9 entries, so
9
really
entries
good odds
only.
here.
Oh my
yeah.
God. You guys do not want a free tablet. 30 seconds. It's counting down. And then we're open to suggestions for potential giveaways in the future too. If there's something that you guys know that you would want from a giveaway, it's like tougher with like digital stuff because it's like, what are we going to do? We're going to get you paid brush packs. I think that's a little bit cheap. I want to do something fancier, something bigger, but not like a PS5. All right. So is it going to tell us who wins? Congratulations to Jumping Dragon. Nice. So Jumping Dragon, DM me, and I can get your mailing address. I'm going to message them right now.
This was so much easier than trying to do it through Stream.
Yeah, I'm glad we got it working out.
Jumping Dragon is typing. Oh, Jumping Dragon has joined recently.
Excellent, excellent.
Did they literally just join? Let me see. It looks like Jumping Dragon. Oh, joined a few days ago, 3 days ago. Awesome. Yeah, you're welcome, Jumping Dragon. This is awesome.
Yeah, I just sent you a DM with a request for your address. I'm going to ship that out to you later today, as soon as you get me your shipping address. We need to figure out a way to make it so that I'm not shipping these all the way over the world. We got lucky with a U.S. person last time, but I'm realizing that we are like playing Russian roulette with the shipping costs here. I'll honor it at this point because we haven't made any stipulations up until now. But
yeah, we'll have to draft those out for sure.
Well, I might be able to figure out how to do it because it's like if we can get it shipped through Amazon or whatever, then like it might be possible to do international, like ship locally from like alternate like Amazon locations or something like that, maybe.
That would be cool if possible. I know you're the shipping expert.
Oh yeah, well, being a shipping expert means that like I just live in hell. And I just deal with like all the things that are horrible about shipping, and I don't actually know any more than the average person.
So it's the pain with no benefit.
It is, yeah. It's sort of like those guys that like exercise like tying a weight to their balls and then lifting it up heavier and heavier weights with like, see what I'm talking about? Just me? I'm the only one who's seen those videos? Fuck.
Wait, which videos? Sorry, I was responding to Twitch chat.
The ones where the Chinese guys like tie the weights to their balls and they try to lift heavier and heavier.
I have seen that one.
Okay.
Yeah. The one where the guy gets the battering ram log just.
Yeah, that's what it's like being a shipping expert.
Okay, you can resume as usual. It looks like the giveaway business is all taken care of.
When they pull, yeah, Fijota's saying when they pull a fire truck with their nuts. Yeah, basically. We've gone from very highbrow to very lowbrow very quickly on this stream.
Lowbrow humor is still amazing.
It's, I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm trying to be authentic here, right?
Looks like a wall-eyed dog. This is unironically my like pro kangaroo.
You gotta post it. You can't tease us like this with this kind of suggestion and then not post it. That's illegal.
All right. I'll stream. I'll stream.
You'll stream?
This is ridiculous. I'm scared how bad this cat looks.
I want to make the worst cat I can. I'm gearing up for it. Let's see. I gotta get this
love
stream
that
going.
cat so much.
Oh, that's not bad. This is not a Proco kangaroo situation. I'm just mashing buttons over here. It's not good. I mean, you're right. It's not good.
Oh god. I have to save this on like another layer so it doesn't for posterity.
Yeah.
Or
But I feel like I feel obligated now for sure to make my cat worse.
Even when I make the face small. What is happening? I've drawn a cat before. It wasn't that bad.
Forgive me, but can I ask for some of you artists to look at something and tell me what you think it looks like?
Maybe. Depends.
Here, hold on. Just need some lighting advice. That's about it. Here,
Lighting
let me,
advice. What do you got?
Hang on, I'm loading it up. I want to make sure this looks somewhat decent here. I'm gonna tell you what I'm going for here, but for the sake of simplicity, and then I'll stream it up here. Hold on. Please don't.
I feel like we're about to get memed. I feel
Oh.
I feel a tingling.
Oh, I think Discord crashed. I think my Discord crashed for a second. Let me try again. Except this time I'm gonna stream my screen instead of. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Okay, so I'm going for sort of an industrial nighttime kind of look with this environment here. There's the base environment here in Unreal Engine. But for the sake of making this 2-week sprint project that I've been working on, I'm trying to get this sort of idea that you are able to go inside TVs and by changing the channel on a remote you carry, and it changes the environmental shaders. So, like to give you an example, here's what happens when if I were to activate a channel here, which is in this array for post-processing, it looks like it's in a TV screen.
Okay.
And so if I'm playing this now, it actually looks like it's a low poly environment, even though it's not. Do you think this looks industrial enough, like that sort of eerie, almost nighttime environment? Because like I have the lux for this set pretty low, and I'm gonna turn that post-processing back off because it looks hard to see. But I think that the skybox with this lighting does make it look like you're out in a street lamp. And so taking this, I'm probably going to take environmental pieces from other places and build a small looking like a rundown shed or something next to a street and start to build on that so I can add to these elements.
I mean, I think it pretty much does, but I'm also not like an expert on this sort of thing. I've like very little ability to speak on it, unfortunately.
Here, let's do this. Well, then do you think it at least looks decent the way it is now? That's all I'm asking for. Because I am not an artist.
It looks like a block-in. I mean, I'm not sure what decent is, like what it compares against. Like that's the part of the problem is that I don't have the ability to necessarily qualify the work. Because
Well,
it's
at least
outside
the
my
lighting
medium.
doesn't seem to got any bad reactions, so that means that it's not terrible. That's what's important. I'm not a lighting artist, so at least I didn't get any like, oh, I can't see anything.
Oh no, it's like totally legible. I wasn't sure if that was actually even a question.
Nah, I'm just gauging people's responses. Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, if that was helpful, I'm happy to be of help.
Seems fine, but I'm also not a lighting artist. But hey, man, your audience isn't lighting artists, unless it is.
I built a video
Some of
game
them
that's
might hate
only
on.
for lighting artists. They're gonna go nuts when they see this shit.
There actually was someone who made that. They made a game and they made it entirely using shaders. And that's the most cursed thing I think I've ever seen. Building a game with shaders is like trying to make a 3D object with candle fire. It's ridiculous. And whoever did that is just... Ugh.
I mean, I have a vague idea of what you're talking about, but I mean, having never worked with shaders, like I've only know for like the results of what shaders can do. I'm not sure exactly how you would even, how you would build a space. Like, I know you can create the illusion of space, like, in a space that doesn't exist, but, like, the idea that you do that for an entire environment that's, like, interactive in some way, sounds impossible to me.
Yeah, it seems like a game would take, like, forever to render. Like, a game with just shaders.
Well, yes and no. So, a shader essentially is just taking any of your screen elements and applying a mathematical algorithm to it before it displays. So, I mean, it depends on how many shaders you have active, but most math a computer can do fairly quickly. So unless you're doing it at the event tick, which means like every subframe tick the computer needs to process something, it doesn't really feel like that would be too hard, because most lighting is baked, not dynamic.
Yeah.
So if a shader is applied, it's applied consistently to the world, and then has minor attenuation adjustment based off your camera location. So it can be process heavy dependent on what you're doing, especially if you want like realistic dynamic lighting, which is part of the reason why my PC is about to explode when I stream it, because this is dynamic lighting right now for the sake of testing. But if you bake lighting, a lot of the algorithms have been performed already. It's just calling back the process based off where you already were.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's like if you were to draw a line, if it's generating the line every time you draw a new one, instead of calling a texture and just putting it down, it's going to be more efficient to loop a process than to completely rebuild it from the start.
I got you.
My computer feels like it's about to explode.
That's it purring. That's the sound it makes when it's enjoying its work.
My CPU usage is 500%.
It's getting hot from love.
Hot from love is not something I want to hear yet.
Can we point out stuff about the study Spectaha was saying? I mean, you can point it out. I mean, the whole point is that I need to see stuff in the study. I'm not really caring if it's that accurate. There's always something though. I'm finding that like the people at home are always just like, they notice that there's one thing that's out of place, or that like I keep dancing around some area that they would have fixed, and it's like quietly eating them up inside. And if I could find a way of like causing that reaction more intensely for the sake of engagement, I would.
Just start purposefully doing really crooked eyes.
I mean, I don't know, because it can't look intentional. I think it's like the people, they like sort of are following along with their eyes, and they're like, yeah, you know, are you gonna fix where that arm is? Like, this happened a couple of times where people have like sheepishly tried to like point something out, and I'm like, oh shit, you're right. And like,
I think, yeah,
it's not that I like have a problem with the criticism. It's like, it's kind of not the point of like what I'm up to here.
See, that's the issue. I think what a lot of people, not everyone, and we have a lot of smart people in this group, but the more people that watch the stream, the more you're going to get artists who don't understand that the point of a study is not to copy what you're looking at. The point is to study an element or elements of what you're looking at so that you improve in that specific area. You weren't hired to reproduce that painting exactly.
Yeah.
You're
Nobody
studying
cares
it
if
so
these
that you can
pixels are all
grow.
perfect.
Right. So if you're, say, hypothetically studying, silhouette, the inside can be totally garbage because you're not studying that, right? And in fact, if you're studying silhouette, you're probably an artist that overly focuses on the details and need to train your brain to see images more holistically. So it's good that the inside, you're training yourself to not see it to the point that it's underdeveloped. And if people haven't done that in their studies, they don't recognize that. They're just, like, when are you going to fix the hand? If he's not working on hands, that's not really relevant.
This is what I tell myself every day to justify why this cat doesn't look anything like the reference.
Well, that cat is an exception to the discussion, obviously. I think that goes without saying, right? I saw that and instantly had a nightmare, even though I'm wide awake. I was muted, but I literally laughed for 45 seconds straight. I had to breathe. That cat was so rabid and feral. I loved it.
What do you mean? I personally think he was a beautiful cat.
Yeah, what does it say about me that I was like, that's not that bad?
But you walked it back though, like you did, like I think Elaine from Seinfeld did this, where it's like, it's not that bad. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I guess it's not that good. It just kept sliding down the hill. I'm like, yeah, it's bad. That was great. Thanks for sharing that.
No problem. Oh man.
What the fuck is happening over here? Oh, she's even missing a tooth. That's funny. I didn't even notice. I don't know. I've been so literal about this stuff, and like I can't even, like, even as I'm like thinking about it and saying it out loud, it is so hard for me to get like less literal about it. Like, this is the challenge I keep coming back to day after day. Is like, I want to just do a good job and like make the pixels, and like, but that's 100% not the point, and that's not why I'm here. And so the desire to just remake the pixels is like, it's like, this is the challenge over and over again. Is like, I could be getting, it is like a skill I wanted to learn, but I started to get better at it. And then now I'm kind of like letting go of all the other stuff at the expense of it being like, I think it's probably more effective for me to figure out ways of stylizing and making it interesting and like focusing on the shapes and really reading what's happening in the image than it is for me to like do a better job interpreting the pixels and like getting all the proportions right and everything. And like, especially with me trying out different stuff with working methods and like trying out the different like coming up with ways of making an image look like cool and unique beyond just what the reference is. And I'm enjoying the hell out of other people doing it. So like, it's this like, it's become this like daily struggle for me where I feel like I'm not doing enough of it. But then I think, well, because I'm so concerned with it, I must be actually really pushing myself. But then reviewing over my work this morning, I'm like, actually, I think I'm sliding backwards on that goal. So now I'm here again, staring into this face, wondering what I should do. And like, it's already kind of weird colors, and I'm pushing it a bit, but one of these, I'm gonna keep considering this every single day until I can finally make like a big breakthrough and like be able to come back to a point where I'm able to like really stylize the stuff in a way that feels unique to me, without like feeling like I'm doing too little about it. And who knows? Maybe I'll like really get there one of these days. But I'm kind of expecting to strap in for like, maybe 1,000 of these, like what Jack Black's doing, just like never stopping. And so I think that even in 50, I've gotten like I've gotten some real learning lessons that I've had a great experience with it. But 50 to me feels like very little in the scope of the kind of thing I'm trying to do here. Okay.
Yeah, I think you have the right mindset, because sometimes you don't know exactly what part of your brain you're trying to change.
Yeah.
But you know just that you're trying to change something.
Yeah.
So you just keep trying it until that part of the brain wakes up and goes, "Oh, you want me to move? Okay, my bad."
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
and sometimes it's not a linear process. So you just keep plugging away. So I think you're doing it
I mean,
the right way.
like my experience with like struggling with something and having no progress on it before is like I keep reminding myself what I'm trying to do and I keep not doing it, and then I keep like just going back and making more and more coats over and over again, trying to see if I can like wake that part of my brain up. And then one day it's not a linear process. Like one moment it's not working and then all of a sudden it becomes obvious. And you know, that's kind of what I'm hoping for here, is that like I'm gonna have these little successes and little failures. I'm gonna keep an eye on it, and then hopefully it'll just like snap together someday, and I'll have like a real insight into it. But like insight has never for me been like a linear process at all, which is why it's like this whole challenge is intended to be a daily thing, because like that's the way in which you know, it's through repetition that I feel like it's possible to get to that point of insight. What if you radically change your approach, like painting shapes with the lasso tool, or like round, sharp round shapes only? I've done a little bit of that. Aaron Blyce, do I know this guy? Do we raid him before? We raided him before, right?
No, we did not raid him before. We were going to, and then he
that's
went
how
offline.
I know. Yeah. I was like, that name sounds familiar. Then like we stopped. He stopped streaming before we got a chance to raid him last time.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna try to hurry through this. I'm already on the top layer here, so I need to like get what I want out of this so that we can get into raiding. And I can get into Armored Core.
Pete, you know how you were like, man, I wish I could animeify a bunch of like portraits, but I don't know how to animate. You could do it though. Pete, I don't think I can do it.
I don't think you can do it today. If you're going to tell me you can't do it today, I believe you. But do I believe you could figure out how to do it? Yes. I still think you can do it.
Yeah. Probably. It's also, this image is like, it's a double whammy of like trying to like translate a realistic photo into anime, and also trying to like
it's also a photo manipulated
that, like,
it's also a manipulated photo, and it's also like got a cat in it and shit. There's like a bunch of extra hurdles on it.
Yeah, and she has like a weird hairstyle and like makeup that like I don't know how you translate this into anime. It's probably possible.
I don't know, man. You're the anime guy around here.
Yeah. I guess you could have an anime girl with no eyebrows. What happens when you make an anime girl with no eyebrows? You know what? I give
It's
up
really
on
creepy.
like recreating this. I'm just gonna experiment with like trying to get this face by anime.
That new Street Fighter character is kind of like that. AKI, she has bleached eyebrows, so they're invisible from certain distances.
She's cool. She's got the haircut that looks like a Sakat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool design.
You know, there's like an intangibility to Street Fighter designs I always appreciated, where it's like there's such variety in the body types and like archetypes inside Street Fighter, but there's always like this feeling of like some characters are Street Fighter characters, but some of them look like SNK characters. And I
Absolutely
do not know how to put my finger on it. And sometimes I see a new Street Fighter character and I just go like, nope, not
It's
my
so funny,
Street Fighter.
dude. In Street Fighter 3, Remy was such an SNK character. We were all like, how did you escape King of Fighters?
Yeah.
And get into Third Strike, bro. Get out of here. Nobody believes you. But what you said about body types, that actually got me back into studying art seriously. because you know, sometimes when you're working, you just keep working and keep working, and you don't really have time to go back and study. But when Street Fighter 6 dropped, I just started doing studies of the game, like organically, because I was just so fascinated that they have so many body types represented. But in this particular game, they've really advanced how games represent body fat. And body fat is one of the most ignored parts of character design. But it's important, right? Like, so it tends to be binary.
Like fucking Zangief doesn't look like it's actually really evolved like the style quite a bit in 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna post a couple of those studies in
Twitch chat because it's like I agree with you. Like they it felt like they were trying to still have the very large, very over the top feeling of Street Fighter, while also making it feel a bit more tangible and realistic.
Yep.
To like increase the sense of fidelity, which I thought was a cool move, but it's also like a very fine line to tread.
Yeah, and that was why I wanted to study it, because they have so many successes in there.
Yeah.
And for most like games or whatever, comic book game, whatever you want to call it, like when people do character design, a lot of things are binary, right? So here's what most of the skinny characters look like. Here's what the average body looks like, and so on and so forth. But in Street Fighter, they will have several slender women with all different frames and different musculatures and different levels of body fat. Like same with like Zangief and Marisa, completely different like constructions, but the same type, where they're like the bulky, you know, up close grappler kind of thing. And their ability, even like Blanca, Honda, vastly different, even though from a silhouette standpoint, another artist might have made them much more similar. Very fascinating how their team has pulled that together, and definitely improved my anatomy, like going back in and studying that stuff.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of like Capcom's like art, like over the years. Like I feel like whatever consistency they've had over the years, like there's always so many high points that I feel like my favorite like video game aesthetics always come back to Capcom.
Yeah.
And like even like Angel Area, I credit as being an offshoot of my love of Mega Man as a kid. That like the idea of creating a series of boss guys that all have like a singular theme to them, like comes back. Right. It's like basically the same. Angel Area is the same idea as like Mega Man bosses, but like turned into like a kind of, you know, more realistic, more serious format. But it's the same core idea.
Yeah, so these are a bunch of quick studies I did just off of that stuff, where I was like, ooh, look at these shapes. They're doing such cool stuff. I had to get in there and play around with it. And that kind of led me back to like, I could see areas where I knew the basics, but I could go back and really refine it and be a lot more solid. And that kind of got me down the rabbit hole to where I am now, where I'm really back in the mix. Like everybody was talking about earlier, where like, sometimes you get back to it after being away from it for a while.
Yeah.
Pete, you know that like page of drawings I like posted in the like dailies or whatever?
Yeah.
I did that in like an hour, and all of them look pretty good. But then I have to draw a photo and turn it into anime, and I spend an hour making the jankiest cat ever made.
We found a weak spot. I don't like. Is this? Fucking, I forgot all their names. I haven't played a lot of 6.
Lily.
I don't like Lily's face at all. She's got too baby face. I do not like it. She doesn't look good when she makes this face. I don't like the way she looks when she's neutral. I don't like her look at all.
That was part of the reason I drew it. Part of it was because this guy that I somewhat know was playing the character, and he wanted a Twitch emote of her.
Yeah.
But her and Kimberly both have, you can see where they struggle with because they do look like Chucky dolls to some degree.
Yeah.
Right? And so again, that's fascinating for me. Like there are some successes in Blanca's body, but some failures in his face, I think. And then there's some of the same. Yeah, like
I love Blanca's face.
I love Blanca too, but you know, I could see where certain things are like they've worked out most of it. you know, but I see some stuff they haven't worked out. Whereas with, say, like DJ and Geef, I feel like 10 out of 10, I can't even imagine how they would improve on those designs based on the drawings and history of the character.
Yeah.
And the 3D rendering now. I'm like, wow, you seem like you guys have really climbed that mountain there. So it's kind of like we were talking about before. Sometimes it's just analysis, you know, it's not like, I'm not even judging it. It's just like I'm fascinated by the work, you know, that I'm seeing put in there. I had to play with it.
I really like Blanca's like weird, exaggerated face. I think it's like a big departure from where he was in the past. But I mean, so is like Zangief. I don't know. Like, I really like. I know he's divisive, but I actually really like that design. Just because it's like, I feel like it's a mixture of characteristics that is unique that I haven't really seen before.
Well, Blanca's interesting, right? Because he was a character that when he came out, he wasn't supposed to be sympathetic at all. But over time, he's gotten more to be like, well, actually, you look at his
I mean, when
friend
I was a
in the
kid
game,
and I first
Dan.
saw like Street Fighter 2 and Nintendo Power, I saw Blanca
Yeah.
and I was like, I want to play as that guy.
Yeah. So they humanized him, right? And they made him funny. Where before he was just the beast monster that came out and electrocuted you. Now he's Dan and Sakura's friend.
I always thought he had swag though. I always thought Blanca was fucking cool. I thought he was cool back, like all the way back to when they weren't trying to make him cool, which maybe that just says more about me. But I've always stand Blanca, and like I like this version of him the most of every version I've seen. But
I do think this is I think it's the most successful character design too in terms of like the game, like his fight style. He's like super interesting, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, from a character design perspective, I like him a lot, and I think like with the level of diversity they have in Street Fighter, like it's not really, it's like hard to even say definitively about like what's good or bad design, because I think that people relate to these designs in really different ways.
Yeah.
I was really surprised that they made Chun-Li look like they went from like an anime aesthetic, classically anime aesthetic, to something that was way more like realistically Asian.
Yes.
That seemed like a huge change to me. I thought they did a fantastic job with it, but it's also like, again, there's like the relationship people have with like these character designs. I imagined it was probably going to be a divisive, but I didn't see too much of it. So too much complaining.
Oh no, people overwhelmingly love Chun-Li's design.
That's good.
But what you're saying is very interesting, right? Because when we look at it just as character designers, Ryu is not nearly as realistically Japanese,
right,
as she is realistically Chinese.
Yep.
Right? And that's what I'm talking about like when I say success and failure, I don't necessarily mean good or bad, but just like when I look at Zangief, it looks like that is 100% altogether. What you bring up about Chun-Li is absolutely true. There's a little bit of a disconnect because Ryu has not really gotten closer to being an actual rendering of a Japanese man, but Chun-Li has gotten way closer to being a rendering of a Chinese woman.
That's right.
So, okay, that's an interesting like thing to have in the same game, which we don't really see. You know, so but like you said, it is a cartoon at the end of the day. So it's kind of like, why does Goofy talk and Pluto doesn't? You know? It's a cartoon, man. Do what I want.
I don't know. I just thought that everything about that was really interesting, especially like I went back and I played some Street Fighter V for the first time right before 6 came out. And my initial reaction was like, yo, these look busted. Like, I remember seeing them sort of passively, like, on the side, and I saw, like, Ken's, like, fucking banana hair, and I'm like, this is no good. This is not okay.
Literally hurt. It hurt. It hurt so bad, I actually stopped playing fighting games throughout the entire duration of Street Fighter V. Like, I literally played Destiny and Overwatch during that time.
I think you and a lot of people, Street Fighter took a big hit because of 5, and it's like, yeah, there was like all sorts of stuff with online play and like single player content, whatever, but boy, that it's just like they were trying to figure out a way to like make do what succeeded with 4 and like do it like 10% different? Like, how can we make it kind of like the things that people like about Street Fighter 4, but have it be slightly distinct in its own stupid way? And it was just so conservative on trying to not screw up what they thought was good about the thing, and they screwed it up so bad. They like pushed away their fan base.
I think that's a classic case of sometimes there's leadership changes going on in a company, and this is you worked in gaming, right?
A bit.
Okay, so I do consulting for a AAA game company, and so there are things internally that sometimes when the audience sees it, they don't understand that this feature's in here because on Tuesday, this producer won the argument. And on Thursday, his enemy won the argument, right? And so sometimes when disjointed games come out, it's because the company's literally not on the same page and they have differing philosophies and they have to make this multi-million-dollar product and you find out who's right and who's wrong by the audience receiving it. And what I love about Street Fighter 6 is that happened in Street Fighter 5. They did so many things that you could see the battles where like there's a producer in there who doesn't think netcode should be changed, right? There's a producer in there who thinks the character should be this way. They clearly hired several different art teams to do different characters. Because if you look at Cody and you look at Ken, just no way that's by the same human being, right? Or it's not even by the same type of human being.
Yeah.
And then in Street Fighter 6, if you watch all of the press, those developers are on the exact same page. And it permeates through the whole game, from the character design in terms of visually, to the music, to the fighting styles, to the fact that they haven't put out a patch yet. And the game's already been out for a few months. No patches, no balance changes, and it's already gone to Evo.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, so to hold the line like that, and I tell you, that is a struggle. Like when developers go on Twitter and they see angry fans, it is so easy to turn around to the team and panic, and they have not done that. And that's because they learned from everything that happened in Street Fighter 5, which, hey, if Street Fighter 5 had to die so that
Street Fighter 6 could live.
Yeah, I'm with it, man. Because that is there are like 6 or 7 things right now that are really artistically inspiring, and for me, and Street Fighter 6 is definitely
the one thing that bums me out about Street Fighter 6 is I went cheap and I got a Series S, and it doesn't load the fucking normal maps for Street Fighter. So like I can play it, but it looks like somebody turned a layer off or something on every character. The resolution is on like a lot of the textures is so bad. It's like borderline unplayable. Cause
is your PC not gaming ready?
I don't really like to game on my PC very much.
I hear that.
Speaking of like cheaping out on like an older gen system, there's like Monster Hunter 6 is supposed to be like revealed or talked about next month, and it's going to be next gen only. And I bought this fucking thing 6 months ago, and I'm about to have to drop another.
What'd you get? What'd you get 6 months ago?
The Series S, and the next Monster is supposed to be next gen exclusive.
Well, Series S is technically next gen, but it runs pretty close to last gen. But it's like it does some stuff. It does some stuff way better. Like the stuff that straddle generations runs awesome on the Series S. I really like the Series S. It's just that like I'm noticing that the games that are coming out kind of post like that aren't targeting like the PS4 and like the Xbox. What do they call the One X and One S?
Yeah.
Fuck, I hate their names.
Just X.
Yeah, but the ones that aren't targeting the older consoles anymore run like absolute shit on the Series S.
Damn.
And I'm just like, I might need to go buy another Xbox. But I also have a PS5. So like part of the problem is like I really like Game Pass. Game Pass has been an amazing friend to our family.
Yep.
like having kids and then wanting to play a bunch of games and like they just like turn that on and we're like, well, what's popping in here?
Exactly. It's so nice.
It's fucking awesome. And so they enjoy that. I enjoy that. And so like the Sony equivalent's like not that good. So for like Armored Core, I went and I wasn't even going to try it running on that Series S. So I got it on the PS5, and I'm getting most stuff that I like care about like on the PS5 if I can, just because I know it's actually going to run right.
Yeah. Like I shoot me, I know, but like I'm not a graphics guy. I guess I run all my games at like lowest quality because I want the highest frame rate in general. Even if my system could theoretically handle max. But yeah, I'm like a low graphics type of guy. So if like and Monster Hunter
Vane in chat is a longtime supporter.
Wow, glad 3 weeks. Glad I'm not far out. What is it? Didn't know you streamed this whole time. Been on your Facebook for years. Bought all the pins and merch, books. Freaking out. Love your prints, man. Thank you so much, Vane. Yeah, sorry I wasn't watching the chat. I'm focusing on the study here, but yeah, I'm here 5 days a week. I'm sometimes working on Angelarium stuff, but I've been focusing on studies while I've been on chat. So feel free to stop by anytime over the course of any weekday, and I'm here. So I'll be back on Monday at noon Eastern. So I got
I forgot you were streaming. Sorry for taking that further into video games. I apologize.
No, not a problem. I play a lot of video games. I like video games. It's the closest thing I have to a hobby.
Yeah, but Jazz, next month. Keep your eyes out. Next month they might be announcing.
Ooh, that's exciting. Although I haven't finished Sunbreak yet. What the fuck? Slow down, Capcom.
I just saw what you did with that cat. Ridiculous.
Oh, me?
Jay.
I wanted to make it a little ridiculous from the beginning, and then Jazz did his bad cat, and I was like, how do I make it so that it's like clearly not supposed to be realistic, but like doesn't look horribly out of place? And I'm feeling pretty good about him.
Yeah.
What's up, Jazz?
Jay, did you see the bad cat I drew? This isn't it. There's a worse one.
Wait, show me the bad cat.
Are you watching my stream?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the fixed version, and it's still not that good.
Oh, wow. But like, is it bad? I want to hold it, you know?
It's like a weird, like Meiji Chihuahua or something.
Yeah, wow. Don't talk trash to my homie.
I like how wide and like awkwardly posed this cat is. Like this cat is clearly in the middle of trying to escape.
Yeah.
He's like squishing himself up in like the weirdest possible way.
And
thanks for the T1, man.
That's the best one they had. So that cat in the pictures they didn't like publish.
Yeah. Well, I mean the whole thing is designed to be a little off-putting and weird, and I think it's like photo bashed together because like some of the lighting on some of these bits don't match up.
Yeah.
So I think that they were like happy that they got this super awkward cat moment.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to like see if I can capture some of this like extraordinarily awkward energy that it's bringing here.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime someone brings up like, what wild animal could you fight? I'm like, man, I can barely fight a fucking house cat. Could
you fight a horse, like a duck-sized horse or whatever? And I'm just like, what? Like,
has anyone that ever asked that question tried to hold a cat that didn't want to be held? You very quickly realize that you actually have no chance against a house cat, let alone a mountain lion.
Yeah, we're a few million years away from that level of wild spirit, and that's its life every single day.
Yeah. Oh man. Today is a chill day. I got my partner's band practice to go watch.
Nice.
Yeah. They put out some bangers. Good stuff, Loki. Not even I don't just hype her because she's my partner. Her music's genuinely good.
What kind of band is it?
It's It's kind of all over the place because they just make music they like, and they don't really try to relegate themselves to a specific niche. But it's like a lot of punk alt, but it's not heavy. If you want the Spotify, I could just DM it to you. I don't know who asked, but
Yeah, that was books. Can you throw it in the Twitch chat?
I will. I will do one better. I'll just throw
You
it
can
in
do it. Yeah, you can do it.
the Discord chat because I'm not sure the Twitch people care.
That's what I meant. I meant the Discord.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, working in CC is like making me so fucking nervous because of shit like this, where it like a window will completely stop responding, and thankfully I was able to save it, but like I don't know, I've never had that happen in Photoshop until I started working in CC. Does anybody know that Dustin saying when he gets mobbed by birds when they see food, it's scary for him? Dude, how often does that happen? I don't think that's ever happened to me my whole fucking life. Like, are you just like eating loaves of bread near like a duck pond every day? What's going on?
Hold on. I'm afraid. I'm like partially afraid of birds. Like I don't have a phobia of birds, but nothing changes your perspective of winged animals, like running with a PB&J on the beach because you refuse to throw it, and now there's like 50 seagulls trapped. So like I was 12, and
okay, that makes more sense. I was imagining you in your 30s trying to enjoy a hot PB&J on the beach. And wondering how the fuck you ended up in that situation. It makes way more sense if you're 12.
I think you know what? I think it was like closer to 14. I don't know. It was 9th grade. Yeah, so like 14. But anyways, on the beach eating my PB&J, one bird comes on up. Then it's 2, and then it's 3, and then now they're getting real close, and they're eyeing up my Sammy. Well, worst mistake of my life. I stood up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I start walking with it. Now other birds are starting. I start jogging because
you're
I'm
leading
freaked
a
out.
parade. You're the parade leader of the bird sandwich parade.
Yes. And not 30 seconds later, I'm sprinting up and down the beach, waving this PB&J over my head because I'm freaked out. And my dad's like, "Throw the sandwich." And I'm like, "No." And then I eventually did. I threw it up, and before it hit the ground, it was gone. It was
consumed by a combination of 5 different seagulls.
It was the most terrifying thing of my life. And then I ate my dad's sandwich under a blanket. So, yeah, fuck birds.
I've never been a big fan of birds. Go to someone's house and they've got like a bird in a cage. I feel like every moment that they're hanging out is them trying to trick the bird to tell it that it's like time to go to sleep or like get away from everybody, stop responding to the people in the room. It's like this got to be the most difficult pet, and like the payoff is that you have something that fills a cage full of shit every day, and I don't understand it. Some people seem to really love their birds. You're allowed to. I'm just saying it's not for me. I don't get it.
So me and my brother literally just spoke about this exact thing.
Yeah. But from the opposite perspective, you love birds.
No. It's so the end of the conversation was if you open the door or the window and your pet immediately leaves, it's probably not a pet, it's a prisoner. Okay. And you're the bad guy.
There's cats that are like that too, though.
Then you're a bad cat owner. I've owned a few cats, and I could leave the door open all day. And I had one cat who would leave and go around the neighborhood and talk to other cats and torment people's pet dogs and then come home at the end of the day. Like, that was fun. I'm inside now. And I had another cat that would not go outside the door. You could leave the door open all day, and they would just sit at the door pretending that they were brave enough to leave. But it was all lies, and they just wanted to feel like they were that kind of cat. Yeah, I've never had a cat run away.
By the way, who is Von Art? I just noticed there are a new Big Brain up in here.
Oh, that's my friend. That's my friend Tim Von Ruden. He popped in. He was the one who popped in the chat earlier. He is a really super successful convention artist, and like he's an old friend of mine. And I just told, I was going to pitch him on like doing some collabs or stuff with us down the line.
Wow.
And then he gave me a buzz last night and was asking me what I was up to, and I just started like gushing about like all these plans I had and like how everything's going really great and we got this cool like community, and I was like, you should go by tomorrow. And like, so I gave him big brain because it's like I'm trying to bait him to like come hang out more, but also I was like, I wanted to get him in the room and it might have been full, so instead of having to like deal with that on stream, I just gave him the ability to like have like to be able to get in on his own, let himself in.
Yeah. No, his stuff is it's awesome. I really like his stuff.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's a great artist. Really smart, really caring dude, and then also knows a shitload about the business side of things, which I know is like the thing that comes up all the time. So he's someone I trust to like be able to like, you know, guide people and lead stuff when, you know, without me being around. So he's got big brain status. I've known him for so long at this point. Like it's easy. It's an easy choice.
Oh yeah. Well, shout out Timothy Von Ruden.
Timothy Von Ruden is OG.
Yeah, he posted this little pumpkin dude. Fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He's super prolific, and he works entirely in like pencil, and so it's just like him grinding away little bits of graphite every single day on these like some cases incredibly huge canvases to make these massive like these really massive, really elaborate pieces done entirely like in like the one of the slowest, most methodical, most manual mediums possible. And he just like he's kind of obsessed with the just the process of like committing to something that's hard to do and doing it because it's hard to do. And I've always thought that was kind of cool. I also think he goes overboard with it, and I'm always like, why, dude? Why are you committing to a 4 foot tall canvas and trying to do it entirely in mechanical pencil and have like,
and then, like
hundreds of figures
and then gold lacing it?
Yeah, and then he's just like, haha, I just thought it would be really epic or whatever. I don't know what I'm not sure what words he used, but it's always just like, it's just this irrational choice to like commit to these tremendously huge, ambitious projects, and not because he thinks that like it'll sell or that because it's like important or that people will care, but because he cares. And it's entirely like in pursuit of his own mastery that he takes on these like ridiculous challenges that like, and then he doesn't, you know, there's like no way of even showing people to the degree which is crazy because of like, you know, it's just sitting in his house. It's not even something he's taking to a gallery or whatever. It really is just like done for the sake of it, which is, I mean, in art, like one of the best reasons to commit to something insane like that.
I found this little image from him, the Hampire. It's a fucking like little boar vampire that floats around. Oh man, this is like.
Yeah, and he's doing his own community thing right now. He's just getting his, what do you call it, Drawtober set up. He does like a giant blowout like 30-day art challenge event every October that he dumps a ton of his own time, and like a bunch of other people like work on it with him too, and it's like a whole big thing. And yeah, so he's getting going on that right now and like building a bunch of assets for Drawtober and like collaborating with other really great artists on building that up. And
are you partaking?
I am not partaking. I like never feel like I have time to do it. Like everyone who's doing it is like taking huge amounts of time out of their schedule to do it, and I always feel like I'm double, triple booked, and I can never like make time for Drawtober. Like whenever it's like a hashtag or whatever, I never do it, and now I feel like kind of committed that I'm like the guy who's like too cool for hashtag or whatever. I was trying to rush through this quick, and now I'm like not doing a quick job. I'm enjoying like I'm enjoying it, and I want it all to be good, so I'm like working hard on every inch of it. Oops, all commitment again. Though I'm being like less picky about the proportions matching the original in a specific way, which I think is one of those things that I maybe need to try in order to get the results that I want, like to break free of trying to just be a copying machine and like really focus on like the structure and style of the thing to like make it my own way. I think I need to be like less picky about that kind of thing and not just making the cat dumb.
already like way less of just a copy machine than like most people who are doing studies?
Yeah, but I want to push that further. I want to see how far it goes.
All right. Makes sense. I just feel like you're being a bit hard on yourself. But I guess that's the
I'm not
artist.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm a piece of shit or anything. I just am saying I'm ambitious for the future.
Okay.
Looking past where I'm at to like where I want to be.
Like the healthy version of calling yourself a piece of shit.
No. No one's a piece of shit if they're trying.
Oh, that's funny.
Even me when I drew that cat earlier.
Yeah.
Do you remember those angel pins? Vane's asking.
Angel pins? Oh yeah. Like the little cute ones. Nobody wanted those. It was funny. I was like,
those
so
come
excited.
back.
Will those
I was
come
missing
back?
one of them.
Oh, you're missing the Angel of Death? DM me, I'll mail you one. So I took them off the store because I just didn't want something that was never selling to clog up my store. That's the secret. It was like I got close to selling out, but the last few just like weren't moving, and so I decided to delist them. And so I've got a bunch to just like give away to people. Like I really loved him. I was happy I made him, and you know, I'm gonna like keep making weird little offshoot experiments. But for those, now they're just in sort of giveaway territory. Not a ton of them left, but yeah. If somebody's like a huge fan of those, like I would love to have them on their hands rather than sitting in my closet.
But did you do like chibi angel pins?
Yeah. I did chibi versions of like of a bunch of my like main character designs, and then I heard back from people, they thought it was maybe like a licensing deal. They're like, what was the deal with that? Who made those? I was like, I did. And they're like, well, who drew them? And I was like, I did. Like, it was so different from what I normally do, and it was so entirely out of the blue. Like, it wasn't like I was posting cute stuff and then I'm like, guess what? There's a Kickstarter now. It was like, it was just normal Angelarium art every day for 10 years. And then one day there was like this, oh, by the way, there's a Kickstarter for a thing that looks nothing like anything I've made before. And people, like, some people really liked it, and I was happy. It did fine. I was also just trying to, like, get out from under the perception that, like, because, like, the last Kickstarter I'd done before that was 5 years late, and I wanted to do something that was, like, guaranteed to ship on time. And pins are easy. So it was like, I want to do this. I want to uncurse myself, and I want to, like, you know, finally dare myself to make something that's different from what I normally do. Because I think about making weird stuff like that all the time. And I knew it wasn't going to be for my whole audience. I didn't realize for what a small percentage of my audience it was ultimately going to be for. It was like for me and for like maybe 100 other people out of like 20,000. You know, it's like I had like 20,000. It's like the plushie doll that's like going to be ending in a few days. I have 20,000 emails from my mailing list, 20,000 plus. I got over 10,000 of them to open an email that said Azrael plushie doll, and like 20 people spent money on it. It was like out of 10,000 people who saw it, there was like 20 people who were like, yeah, give me one of those. And I'm like, okay, clearly, like this is, I think that making weird chibi versions of my stuff is cool, and most of the people who have been following me for the last decade do not want it, and that's fine, like totally fine. I've got a Kickstarter for like the next Oracle deck coming up, and I think that's going to be a big hit, and that'll be for those 10,000 people who absolutely did not want the plushie. Wait, hold up, plushies? Okay, I'll drop the link. It's like
my favorite one's
I had it on camera, but I don't have my camera hooked up right anymore. It's just for the VTuber cam. Where? Yeah, if you go to angelarium.net, there's a banner that leads to it. That's the easy way to find it.
You did a really good, like, cute skull face.
Angelarium.net, Azrael Angel of Death plushie. and it's funded, but it's running for 4 more days, and yeah, it's not been a big mover, but I'm really happy I did it. The fact that I have the prototype of this thing makes me so happy. So even if it didn't fund, I would be like, I don't fucking care. I tricked somebody into making a plushie that I really enjoy of my stuff, and I'm just adding it to my collection of like weird Angelarium knickknacks. That is like my favorite stuff to own, and that's fine. And but no, it's because it is funded. Like people who like the same stuff as me like can now actually get one, which is great. And everybody else who doesn't want it, I'll make something else for them. That's fine too, because I love making things, and I'm going to be making a lot of different things. Like, we're expanding into gaming a little bit more with I'm working on a Kickstarter for minis that is going to be like an accessory to like the tabletop RPG, the Angelarium tabletop RPG that's currently in production, which is crazy to think like that I've got this thing is actually getting made. There's a writer working on it right now, and it's coming out from like a full-on publisher. I have a contract with like a real publisher to make it, and they have contracted a writer who's working with me on it, who is like writing it at the moment. And by the end of the year, we should have it like largely done, and I'll start making art for it full time, probably next year. And then we're gonna have like a series of like minis, gaming minis to go with it. I've just put down payment on a couple of artists, a couple of sculptors, to start working on the set for the minis. I hooked up with a guy who is like a big time dude in like the minis world, and he is helping me like find talent and commission a bunch of these. And so I'm going to be commissioning at least 10 sculpts to get made and turned into an entire product line, which is really fucking exciting.
Did the stream die earlier? I was looking at the video producer.
Oh, it did. Yeah, my connection died.
Oh, dang.
Because I
Okay.
died on Instagram too. Not Instagram, on Discord.
Oh, okay. I'll stitch them together before I upload later today.
Okay, cool.
The idea of having like 3D models made out of your character designs always seemed like so cool to me. That's why I'm jealous of 3D artists and their whole extra dimension.
It always did seem cool to me, and like I would get asked every once in a while if people could make 3D models of my stuff, and I was always like, "Oh hell yes, please!" I love it.
It's happened to me too. You get DMs from people every once in a while. Yeah.
I love that, and so like I'm always so happy when people like offer that. And then I was hoping that like I got a this is a story some people have heard already, but I got like a deal in my email once. Some guy cold called me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to do minis? I own a minis company." And I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And he's like, I can give you like $400 up front, or I can I can give you nothing up front and cut you in on the back end, and if they all sell, you'll make $800. And I'm like, okay. What if I want to sell them myself? What if you were to just pay me an inventory? You pay me no money and you just send me a bunch of minis in the mail. How many minis could I get? And he's like, I don't know, 100? And I'm like, how much do they retail for? And he's like, $80. And so it was like, the offer was either take $400 up front, no risk, $800 and like take on a little bit of risk, or take on $8,000 worth of inventory and be like dumped in the desert by myself. And I was like, give me the fucking inventory. I want to be fighting for my life to like make my own paycheck on this. And he's like, all right, fine. And so he sent me 100 of them, and I sold them all pretty quickly, and I made $8,000 instead of $400 on the same deal. And then he's like, do you want to do it again? I was like, hell yeah. And like, same deal. And he's like, no, of course not. I want you to market these things for me. How does $800 sound? And I said, no deal. And then I like didn't have minis for a really long ass time. I just like was waiting for somebody else who was willing to deal with me the way I want to be dealt with to call. Like just, and then at some point I just realized that like I had the capacity. If I wanted to make these deals, I needed to make them myself, and I needed to like put my own money in, and I needed to put my own time in, and I needed to do it like on my own terms, and like be the company that makes it instead of waiting for the company to call me. And so that's what I did. So I'm going to be putting up between $20,000 and $30,000 to like create a product line from scratch, and basically be like my own minis publisher, and run the whole thing totally bootstrapped myself and take 100% of the risk on it. And so that's a choice I made recently, and I'm now like staring it down, and it's like a scary one. But I always tell people to go after the scary options, and so I'm doing it myself. I'm living up to my own advice on this, and trying to make this deal my own way.
We've got a question from Sukai about the plushies and shipping internationally.
Okay, so here's the thing with the plushies is like I'm partnering with Makeship on this. They are doing all the production and they're doing all the shipping, which is rare for me. But that means that I don't actually know the details about international shipping and stuff. Thankfully, their website, they've done 1 million of these campaigns, and there's a lot of information about them online. There's a lot of information on their website. So unfortunately, I wish I could answer the question about it, but they're going to be shipping. I'm pretty sure they have a lot of international shipping stuff worked out. So I would look around on the Makeship website and see if you can get any answers from there. I really wish I had like a good answer for that off the bat. Yeah, I've been having a really tough time with the chat today. I've just been so sucked into this painting and like basically doing 2 streams back to back where we did like community day and now like doing a study on top of it. I'm having a really hard time with the chat today. But I'll be back on Monday fully refreshed, and I will be better about reading the chat. So you'll have me, guys, don't worry. And if you ever want to like pop onto the voice chat through the Discord to ask a question, you're welcome to as well. Like the people in this room, they're just you know, anybody who wanted to show up. And so if you know, if you have a question, you know, come on the Discord and give it a shot. I think the room might be full at this point though. Or not. Maybe not. Yeah, we still got a couple slots open. So as I'm wrapping this up, if anybody has any burning questions they want to ask over voice, they're welcome to come on here and like buzz me that way. It's totally normal. People asking me random shit over voice on Discord is like part of my lifestyle these days.
Can you go more of like your artistic background again? I think I've heard it like loosely, like I've heard like snippets of it.
Which part do you want to hear?
Maybe like I'm kind of a recent graduate of college. Maybe like your early years.
Oh sure, the My Little Pony years.
Yo, you're a brony?
No, better than that. Angelarium. Vane is saying the Angelarium font is fucking awesome. The Angelarium font is Georgia. It's a standard Windows font. I like wanted to pick something that was always going to be easy to recreate for branding purposes. So I graduated from a really bad college that had like. They promised like easy placement in like the game industry after I graduated, but they were just lying. Like they had nothing. They eventually like got sued out of existence by the government. And so I was basically on my own when I graduated, but I had like really hustled and like built up a bit of a brand for myself prior to graduating, even though I had like, no assistance from like learning from my school or like anything. And right, like in my last semester before I graduated, I got an opportunity to start working with a local game company, this little game company in town called Webfoot Games, which doesn't exist anymore. And they had done a lot of browser games, and back when Flash was the thing, and but they had also done like a bunch of Game Boy games. They'd even done like a Dragon Ball Z fighting game and a couple of pretty good Dragon Ball Z like action RPGs, like on the Game Boy Advance. And they're like, will you want to come on and make a Full Metal Alchemist fighting game? And I was like, hell yeah, absolutely. And so I thought I was coming on to work on a Full Metal Alchemist fighting game, which didn't make any sense to me because I didn't have any experience. I had very, very little experience doing 3D modeling. And like, they kind of don't need a concept artist to know what the characters from FMA look like because they already exist. But so I got brought in, and then they're like, okay, yeah, we're working on the license for that. In the meantime, we are making a My Little Pony game for the Game Boy Advance, and we're also porting it to the PC. And so that's what you're working on. And I was like, awesome, I've got a game job, like whatever, man. And so from start to finish, I worked on the My Little Pony Runaway Rainbow for the Game Boy Advance and PC port as like my first job in the game industry. And I think we did it all over the course of like 6 months. It wasn't like crunch time or whatever, but it was total shit because like nobody cared for this thing. We had very little capacity to like make a real game. Every request to like make features was basically turned down because we had like two programmers and like 6 months to like make this whole thing, and like an art team of like that was like deeply underexperienced. So it was like me and like 2 other people basically making 100% of the assets for this My Little Pony game, which is still out there. You can find screenshots and like playthroughs and stuff on YouTube of this game. And then the PC version was weird because we had to do all like the background art at like mega high resolution, because it was like we were going to run it at high res. Like the pixel art on the Game Boy version I thought looks all right. The PC art looks crazy. And so that was my introduction to the games industry. And so after that ended, we started working on some sort of Tonka truck game that was like just as bad, but it was just trucks. And for some reason that was like worse to me, but it was also like a kind of a bad work environment. Like they had a really tiny office, and like the person who ran the company was the company's lawyer, and she didn't like talking. So it was like this silent, sterile room that I would drive like an hour to get to every single day in Chicago winter. And I would just like sit in silence, like chatting with my coworkers on Skype, even though they were sitting shoulder to shoulder with me. And it was like so awkward and weird. I just got out of there right away. And like I took like a terrible, shitty teaching job and tried to like make money like teaching at like a school that was even worse than the one I graduated from, and like trying to do freelance art. But I just like I had to get out of there. It wasn't a great place. And then I didn't think they lasted that long after that point. But I think like some of their Dragon Ball games they made are actually pretty good. I got contacted like last year from somebody who was like a full-time speedrunner of one of the Dragon Ball RPGs, and had seen my name as a playtester because I'd come in like the summer before I started working to help them playtest this game, and they had questions for me about like inside baseball stuff about the game that I was like trying to answer for them. That was totally weird. But yeah, that was like my first exposure to the games industry. I've never had a great experience working in the games industry, and like from start to finish, it's been a series of like strange disappointments. And the My Little Pony was easily the strangest of the bunch. Yeah, it's
got an awesome story to tell out of it.
Well, it's not that awesome of a story, but I mean, it is a weird. Like now that people know me for a particular thing, the idea that I was like one of the principal artists on My Little Pony Runaway Rainbow is kind of funny. And I think the whole thing is really funny in retrospect also, like and like whenever I do a presentation on my history as like in games, it always starts with a slide of My Little Pony Runaway Rainbow, and whenever it like pops up, everyone always laughs at it. I don't even have to say a punchline. just the idea that like anybody who knows me like sees that game box pop up, like immediately laughs. It's really super weird that was like the path that my career took. But
you know how you always like say that thing about how like artists are always trying to edit the cringe out of their like biography or whatever. I feel like every artist, if you like drill down deep enough, has some like humiliating origin story. Or like,
I mean,
they got like a really brutal critique at a con, or they like worked on some dumb project making ponies before they like did Surreal Angels or whatever, you know? Like,
yeah, I mean, but I think, I mean, the cringe, like, it helps inform who we are in a big way. And so I always look forward to being able to, like, include the My Little Pony Runaway Rainbow credit wherever it makes sense, because I still think it's really funny that, like, that's basically my origin story in games.
yeah.
And, like, what's even funnier is, like, the next game studio I worked at, we were in pre-production on an MMO for like, the project was in pre-production for 7 years before getting canceled. Like, I worked on it for I think 3 or 3.5 years, but there was like years beforehand and years afterwards where it was in pre-production and it never came out. So, like, I don't get to really treat that as a credit because the game never finished, never even came close to finishing. And then the company after that was I was working on a live game, a game that like a social game, mobile game that was already out, and so I didn't help develop it. All I did was make additional content for a game that was like constantly running, and so I don't get to credit myself on that either. So I spent 7 years in the game industry. That was my last job. I spent 7 years in the game industry, and I shipped one game. And it was My Little Pony Runaway Rainbow for the Game Boy Advance. And it took 6 months to make. So, like, they always ask, like, in, like, resumes, like, how many games have you shipped? And I'm like, 1. But, like, I think when they talk about shipping a game in the game industry, they don't mean, did you spend 6 months working on a piece of shovelware? Like, they mean, like, did you go through the rigorous process of making, like, a AAA game? Something I can honestly say I have not done. Like, whatever people think of when they think of working in the game industry, I haven't done that. I spent 7 years in there. I never did anything that looks anything like what people think of when they think of that.
Okay, Pete.
It's fine. I mean, when I say it's fine, it makes me sound like there's extra cope. Extra cope. It's like, oh, it's fine. It's fine, okay? It's fine.
Look, My Little Pony Runaway Rainbow
for the Game Boy Advance and PC is a hell of a game. Yeah. I put my heart and soul into that thing.
Although, take that with a grain of salt, because I'm the guy who likes Dark Souls 2. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't know.
I would say Dark Souls 2 is a better game than My Little Pony: The Runaway Rainbow for Game Boy Advance and PC. Oh, this company, one of the weirdest games they made a homies kart racer for the Game Boy Advance also, which I really wonder if there's like a Let's Play of that somewhere on the internet, because I remember looking it up and we couldn't find a single review of the game anywhere. I don't know who in this room is familiar with the IP Homies, but it was an IP that was primarily created for like gotcha machines, like those bubble machines. They're like toys that come out of like a vending machine. You put a quarter in, and you spin it, and you get these weird little racist caricature figures. And there was a period in time where these were somehow making a shitload of money. Like, people were just like getting little racist figurines out of a gumball machine, and somebody was making millions of dollars on it. So this company bought the license to Homies to make like a Mario Kart knockoff. And it was just like the jankiest, worst Mario Kart clone of all time with one of the strangest IPs ever made. So I wasn't there. Like, my buddy who I went to like junior high with was there and helped create Homies Racers or whatever it was called. But I missed it by a couple of months. Otherwise, I would have worked on the Homies racing game, which would have been, I think, even better than the My Little Pony. Arena's Arts is saying, dude, I love Homies. I also grew up in a Hispanic community that also enjoyed gotchas. So that's the thing. Is like I'm saying they're like these racist caricatures. They would not pass muster on Twitter these days. But the people who were buying them were people were like Black and Hispanic communities. So it was like these caricatures that absolutely would not pass nowadays. But like it wasn't a bunch of like white suburban kids that were into homies. So I don't know if that makes it okay or not. And don't ask me. I'm not involved. I've never made homies art at any point in my life. I don't need to like justify the existence of this IP. I'm just saying
the eventual homies cancellation on Pete Mohrbacher.
Yeah. Hold back, Twitter. All right. There's no PSD hidden anywhere on any hard drive that has my name on it, where it's a picture of me doing like problematic caricatures of the Hispanic community from the early 2000s. All right. Didn't happen. You can't prove it happened. But yeah.
Vane has a question about soundtracks for anything. I remember years ago, like 2014-ish, you were talking about how you spoke to some people about soundtrack stuff.
Oh yeah, I got a couple of musicians. It was there was a sprint where like there was musicians contacting me saying, "Oh, I made music tracks inspired by Angelarium," and I was like, "Fucking awesome!" And like it happened like multiple times in a row. And the plan was originally to have at least one of them appear as like a bonus content with like the book release and like sell it alongside the book. But then it took like many years longer for the book to come out, and that music was used like on the YouTube channel, but it wasn't ended up. I realized that it didn't make sense to try to like turn it into a product and sell it because it wasn't something that I really made or even directed. So there's like Angelarium inspired music out there, a bit of it, and I've got a bunch of it on a hard drive, and I have the permission to use it in like videos for like royalty free music and shit. But it's very cool. I've never gone out and commissioned music to be made from any composers. Now that I say it out loud, I think I could probably. It doesn't sound like it'd be that hard, but like even I think like last year, there was another composer that reached out, and he ended up commissioning a live orchestra to perform it. It was part of like an NFT thing though, so like basically everyone who saw it was like, oh, and like, so there's like a piece that was like inspired by one of my paintings that like I did some custom work on, and then no one ever bought as an NFT, and my audience was not interested in.
A few things. You're reaching 3.5 hours.
I am
and
also reaching the end of this piece. I think I'm done on this one. This was fun. I had fun.
And I did look up. I looked up Webfoot. It looks like they're still around. They still got a website.
No, I mean like when was the last time they
Webfoot Technologies now?
Yeah, they were always Webfoot Technologies. What was the last game they made? When was the last game they made?
Oh, actually, that's a good question.
I think I don't know why the website would still be up, but I'm almost certain that it doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, did they have let's look up. I'm gonna look up Webfoot and see where they're at. What? Legend of Korra for 3DS? What the fuck? That's way more recent than I expected. I thought they would have gone out of business way before this. Air Hockey Pack. This seems pretty on. American Girl Kit Mystery Challenge. This all seems on brand for Webfoot. But yeah, Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku was pretty good. Dragon Ball Z Boo's Fury. One of them's a fighting game and it sucks ass. It's like one of the worst fighting games I've ever played, just because it was programmed by like 3 people, and 2 of them, it was like the first time they had ever tried to program anything. And like none of them had any experience with fighting games or FGC in any capacity. So like all the standard rules and understanding how a fighting game is supposed to work just doesn't play. And it's also for like the Game Boy. So if you're like into weird fighting games, maybe you've seen it around. I think it might be Dragon Ball Z Taiketsu. I don't know.
Homies Rollers.
Homies
came out a
Rollers.
year before
We're
Demon Souls.
did you? Oh yeah, they're all alphabetical here. Homies Rollers. It's for the DS. But yeah, it is a video game. Intense multiplayer racing for up to 8 players via Wi-Fi. Mahjong Christmas, yeah. This was they released a lot of games. Looking through it, they must have been at it for a bit after I left. Yeah, Tonka on the Job was the one I started working on, right before I bailed. So like some of these like grass tiles and concrete tiles and stuff, are made by me. So I think this like arrow, this like block with an arrow on it, this is a Pete Mohrbacher original. The way that like the dirt reaches up against the edge of the concrete tile here, this is definitely me. So yeah, that's like some of my original game art. And then
that is an NFT right there.
My Little Pony Runaway Rainbow, yeah. I was the one who created the sprites for this game, so I did the pixel art sprites for this game, and then like a lot of background art too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I see it in Angel Air.
Yeah, definitely. Color pictures and decorate the town for Rainbow Celebration in 14 exciting minigames. That's a fucking lie. Like some of these don't even qualify as games. It's like a cake decoration thing. Like it's sort of like the thing that they give to like a 3-year-old on an iPad, but like adapted for the Game Boy Advance. Meet up with ponies and breezies while watching the latest My Little Pony DVD movie. I don't know why that's a feature. I don't think that's a feature.
Did anybody ever play games like this when they were a kid? I played like a Powerpuff Girls one once.
I played like a Sonic game that was really fun, but I'm not sure that's in the same vein as My Little Pony.
It's like really bad games that are like associated with an IP.
Well, it was like we needed to get it out by a certain date because we had gotten a deal with Walmart to have it on the end cap before the holidays. And they're like, it doesn't matter what the game is, just so long as it's on the end cap at Walmart by the holidays, we will make our money back and then some. And they were probably right. So I'm posting on the dailies, lucky number 54. And then I'm posting on my sketchbook too. I've got to get some more imaginative stuff up on the sketchbook. I think I don't know. This is a good one though. I'm really happy with the study today. I feel like I opened up my chi a little bit. Oh, and then we got that. We're gonna do a raid over to Aaron Blase. I hope he is still running. I'm gonna check on him.
He created Ariel from Little Mermaid. He created the Beast. He created Aladdin from Aladdin. He created Tarzan.
Yeah. So this guy looks like an OG animator. Incredible work. Let's go see what's up with him. And I'm gonna log out. All right, you guys. Thanks for coming by. I'll see you on the other side.
See you, Pete.
See ya.
Bye.